First of Lavion, signed the contract, shared the prophecy. Second of Lavion, Miraldine, Damon, Maps, Glitterbomb. Third of Lavion, Clockwork Dogling, Dinner with the Green Leaves. Tomorrow the 4th, then 5th, then 6th, and only a matter of time before we set sail. So perhaps these logs should include a little more detail. Let's start from the second. Point 1. Miraldine. After a week or so of back and forth over Sending Stone, I finally met Captain Miraldine Frostroot, as Willow Jenkins this time. Between my observations and N's covert mind reading, we determined a few facts about her. Foremost, the traitoress is liaising with dire sharks. Granted, this is an arrangement motivated entirely by money, with perhaps a little bit of residual spite, but it is primarily pragmatism from a businesswoman. So it can change, depending on what is most profitable, and I am hoping to direct her cold motivations in our favor. Time will tell. We plan to meet her again on the 14th, out at sea. It is this date that determines when we leave salvage, to give ourselves no less than 3 days to reconvene with Captain Frostroot. She carries Tarek Elham aboard her vessel, and he is awake now. Resurrected only last week, and awake now, which I believe I just said, and that is good. It's good. He will be an interesting and pivotal piece in the plans moving forward, as he has been this entire time. But I'm glad anyone would be glad to hear that not everyone, not his murderer, but anyway, moving on. Point 2. Damon. I left the verbal sword crossing with Miraldine to have a literal one with the Dragon Slayer. He said he'd give me some guidance after all, and he is leaving so soon. So we returned to the beach where I first ate sand while trying to spar with him and embarrassed myself again for a round of training. Conversation followed. He offered guidance on our upcoming journey to Karnath, unprompted. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he was concerned about us, with warnings of stricter laws and harsher weather, limited food. And then conversation turned to prophecy. I can't quite tell what his demeanor was. Sheepish, perhaps? He claims that I'm on the right track in my musings, and he said some suspicious things about unconventional methods that once again draw into question his strange strength, vague origins, and secret plots. Apparently, I would give some of Damon's associates a headache. He claimed I did the same to Miss Jenkins all these years ago, so I suppose I'm happy that I've maintained my reputation. Yes, it seems that he has some interesting history and associates concealed from us. I'm not naive. I don't know Damon. I don't know what arrangements he's made. I don't know where this goes. I have pointed out and highlighted the words selfish heart and a prophecy and left that speculation with him, along with pieces of each of our foretold futures to study and equip himself with. I understand the magnitude and I comprehend the risk. More so after this conversation. Yet it was one of the most comfortable interactions we've had, and I would not be here if not for this presence. So it will be interesting to part ways with him. All the same, he leaves on the 4th, and I've held him to meeting again before his birthday on the 1st of Aerith. We'll see. Point 3. Charting the course. With safe passage and no interruptions, our voyage to Reckonmark should take just under a month. If we stop, of course, longer. If we are lightning blasted out of the sea, longer still. Much to prepare on that front, so point 4, Glitterbomb. And the little bastard seems intent on terrorizing me in my boat, first with their surprise appearance as Miraldine, and now with a very special letter. And it was a special letter. It was proof that N's correspondence with Contact had given them reassurances that Regalport is going to be kept safe from the likes of Edmund Beckett and the Snapdragon cult. And were I not sparkle blasted up my nose, then perhaps I could have communicated gratitude for them, boldly sharing so much intel, sensitive intel, for the safety of everybody here that we care about. It was only the primary thing left up in the air after the murder mystery. Alas, where Luca blubbered and tried hugging me like some sort of children's toy to show his gratitude for my company, N has instead set out to make me regret it. A snapshot of things to come. But we are on this very glittery boat together. So, next day, 3rd of Lavion. Point 5, Clockwork Dogling. Works a treat. Coming soon to a clinic near you. 6th and final point, last but certainly not least, Captain Varys. Secret non-Lyranda elemental ship developer Varys Greenleaf. Former first mate and present attendant of the High Prince, trusted with special secrets even after his 6-year absence. He and his family joined us for dinner at the Quail and offered guidance that only Varys could. And then I invited him to my scrap bucket to give him guidance in return. Guidance that only I could. He continues to thank me, perhaps more than I've ever been thanked in my life, which is precisely why I have to stop him, lest I dissolve completely. I want Varys to be equipped for the task. able to spot the mark of saboteurs or reinforce the work of artificers. Familiarity with the system will only make him more discerning, and I want him to succeed. But it is necessary to reflect. Here in the shadow of the lighthouse where we first found Captain Varys, trapped by an endless storm, and En, trapped by their hopeless research endeavors, and Luca, trapped in a horrible arm, and the unknown. And me, well, all of the above sends the arm, in a way. Much as I'd like to spend every day from here until departure simply having lessons, I know that reflection on these facts is necessary to equip me for the journey ahead, as I am trying to do for Varys and everybody else. Speaking of, I overlooked something. Point 7, Storm Chaser. I told Varys about the grand airship that we claimed during my time as a Wind Whisperer, and I'd say it did me some good to share such thoughts with someone that understands, even a little, what it means when I say I miss the Storm Chaser, what it means to miss a ship. Oh, my words don't do it justice, it has to be seen, and on the 10th it is highly likely that the Storm Chaser, my Storm Chaser, will dock at Regalport. One day before we set off ourselves. I mean, he would be silly not to bring it to the convocation. I suppose I don't have a say in that. That is unknown, and I am making a habit of operating only within what I do know. And what I do know is 4th of Lavion. Varys is sleeping over. Daemon is leaving. 7 days from the 4th, we will be too. It is undeniable. It is unbelievable. But it is. So, I'd best start acting like it is. And if I only have a short amount of time left in Greentown, then we don't have a moment to waste.
Bright and early, aboard the scrap bucket. Willow, I believe you are sending a message. Well, planning something. Maybe also.
When are you not?
Sending a message to En and Luca to join you.
Not yet. I think I'm gonna start because I have no way to send a message from the lighthouse.
Fish dog.
I will contact them eventually. I thought Fish Dog couldn't go that far.
Yeah, you can.
Also, no wait, is Fish Dog alive?
Fish Dog has been at the poppy while you were in your house, but
yeah,
before.
I just didn't think I could send. I mean, I've left it with you for messages. I just didn't know if I could send it. Say
you can
fly over to their house. I can.
You can. It's just a question of you just. It can only do one thing. You just can't give it more instructions once it's away from you.
Okay.
And I believe you had Fish Dog active to make your dogling, because you've been taking inventory anyway.
I think before I send a message, I would like to ask Varys something. He spent the night, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Varys
what's
is
the
dozing in a
arrangement
hammock.
there? He's still asleep? Didn't wake up at the ass crack of dawn?
Not yet, no.
Well, then I will be the one to wake him, I suppose. I will say, I think Willow has woken up this morning with a bit of strengthened resolve about them. There is something new about them.
Mm-hmm.
They're only a week until we have to leave.
Yep.
And I imagine Willow doing a bit of seeing that Varys is still asleep, doing a little lap of the boat, looking at all of it, and then going outside, looking at the lighthouse, and then deciding before they put on their jacket and everything and put on their headband that it's kind of getting a bit warm. It's probably a bit too warm to keep wearing this, eh?
Mm-hmm.
More often than not, they're not wearing their jacket these days, or rather they're wearing it for the fashion statement rather than the the actual practicality of a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So I think before Willow does anything today, they are going to get dressed a little differently. Probably actually before they reach for the bandana, which they usually put on. they're going to decide to leave that off today.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of just push their hair up instead. I think they're going to swap out their usual top for something with a bit more of a breathable collar. Not like the other one wasn't breathable, but this one's just a bit more stylish. Honestly, Willow's like, breathable collar, also nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They feel like dressing up. They're gonna, on the topic of nice, more jewelry, shorter sleeves. You know what? They found this old belt that has like suspenders attached to it. They're putting that on, and then they're going to put their jacket over their shoulders. But the jacket itself has been amended. I think they've like removed the hood, which is, the jacket is like a marvel of technology, because Willow would not own a jacket that wasn't a marvel of technology, other than other than the casual things. So they've taken off the hood and they have like kind of looped the rope of it through the new suspenders that like keeps it propped on their shoulders. And I think Willow's gonna go walk over to, I don't think they keep their mirror out, so I think they're gonna have to turn it around to have a look at themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. Sir.
Admiring themselves. Yeah. This is a look.
Yeah, that's a look. And I think now, Willow's going to probably send the message now. Just a little fish dog written message, a little fish dog transcribed message. And send it over to the nodding poppy. And then trot downstairs. And is Varys on the cusp of waking up?
Make a
I can turn on music.
Check.
Oh, okay, no.
For your choice. Your choice.
I'll make a perception check and then decide, on purpose, how Varys is going to be woken up this morning.
He seems asleep, as far as you can tell.
What the hell does that mean? It's my morning pretend to sleep routine. Hong shoo, me, me, me.
No. He's genuinely asleep. You just can't tell how deeply that is or not.
I'll chuck on some tunes and see if he stirs. It's not loud. I'm not chucking on like boat shaking music. It's just kind of like, I hope, smooth jazz to bring some energy to the room before.
Okay.
Yeah.
You chuck on your gramophone?
I think so. I think if it was implied, it's a gramophone.
Yeah.
Well.
The little cylinder starts spinning. Yeah. And then in a minute or two, Varys rouses. A little
I'm chilling.
perplexed.
Yeah. Where the hell am I? I'm chilling within eye shot.
Okay.
I think even before he sort of like properly opens his eyes, I'll mention. Say, do you feel like sailing today?
What time is it?
Early.
Sure. Oh. Let me just... He sort of shifts to get out of the hammock. Does not fall because he's slept in a hammock for most of his life. Just easily climbs out the hammock and will make his way above deck to prepare for the day.
I'm kind of like moving half awake. I'll give him some food or some tea or something. Go meet him outside and hand him a tea.
Tea's probably good.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll take some like ropes from him and do the preparation. And I think it's distinctly the opportunity for him to sail away from the lighthouse is something that Willow has in mind. So like they don't mind kind of loitering outside with him for a bit. And kind of watching him. Might do an insight check on him, but I think he's just sleepy at this stage.
When I said make ready, as in I meant Varys is waking up.
Ah, okay. I thought he was like doing stuff.
No.
Make ready to sail.
Make himself ready to sail.
Ah, okay. Well, tea will help.
Sorry for the ambiguous language.
No worries.
Yes. After about like 10 minutes, he and a cup of tea, Varys is awake and alert, admiring the sky. Says, "So what's our course?"
Regalport. If you're familiar.
I have been there before.
I think Willow's sort of looking. I imagine them standing like side by side, on the side facing the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Willow just thought of something to say, but they don't know. I mean, I guess it's like the only time to say. I think Willow's going to kind of pat him on the shoulder as they're about to move back in and say, "I think it's time you finish that journey home."
Aye. Better late than never, eh?
Something like that. Willow heading back inside.
You're looking sharp, Captain.
I'm sure he said that just as Willow like put their hands on the wheel. It's like, yeah. It's a compliment.
It is.
Willow rolls her eyes though, and then like we'll just salute him back. Oh, I think Willow will say, "You as well."
So, the two of you set sail from the
I was gonna
lighthouse.
say it too. Oh, it's not time, is it? Nah, we'll wait.
Are you heading straight to Regalport?
Nah, I think I told if we're gonna see how these guys received the letter that I sent,
Okay.
the message.
Okay. Who do you think would be up first, En or Luca? Here.
Yeah.
Well, Luca is like always up early unless something
Sure.
is in
Yeah.
the way.
I feel like Luca's the first one up, doing his exercise,
Okay.
making breakfast.
Mhm.
In which case, make a perception check.
Brushing his hair.
Yeah, and make myself pretty. Perceptione. Good start.
Could be worse.
In which case, you're busy in your usual morning routine until like you hear a distant sort of like
Oh no, is someone at the door?
Many fins just cycling around, like windmill punching the door.
what do you do, Luca?
I will go to the door.
You open the door and the fish dog just like slams into you. It's been ramming the door with its whole body.
Oh my god.
Is this the first time I've seen it in a while?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him a little hug. I missed him.
Fish dog scrambles and like tries to print out a little receipt at you as you're hugging it.
I will take that receipt. Oh, fish dog's
Message
so
from Willow.
excited.
I think the message says something like, "Good morning. Would you like to meet me at the salvage docks to head to Regalport?"
That's
I
fish
think
dog
they're gonna
printing.
sign off Willow. Yeah. And at the end, P.S. Perhaps bring fancy clothes.
Bring fancy clothes. I look at fish dog like, shouldn't we be wearing them?
Beep, beep.
Hmm.
Now that its message is delivered, it is content to just like sit in your arm or hover beside you.
No, it's hugging me. I refuse to let it do anything other than hug me. And then I will go and fetch En.
Yeah, did I hear that incessant knocking?
Do you want to make a perception check?
I'll give it a shot, yeah. Did I sleep through it, or did I wake up?
You heard it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like-
feel like En's the type of a light sleeper. Someone's at the door! Like a little dog waking up. So
You were like halfway getting dressed to like check the door when it stopped.
yeah. Yeah, so and it's probably like wandering out into the hall or towards the kitchen when Luca finds them.
I will give them the receipt. Receipt message. We have been summoned.
Apparently. Yeah, can't wait
How
to
do I
see
have
how you
green
dress up
fancy clothes?
on your body, I assume.
So I wear them there, or am I supposed to bring them in a bag?
Well, granted, we don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know if there's going to be changing rooms. Unless you're comfortable changing behind a building or a tree, just put them on your body. Wear a jacket if you're self-conscious.
No, I don't want to change behind a tree.
There's your answer, then.
Okay.
Besides,
We go now?
Regalport's not going to be able to see you for much longer. They might as well see you at your best, right?
That lights a fire under his ass, and he like looks at Fish Dog like, "Yeah, let's get ready," and then goes to his room.
And waves him off and like, goes to fetch their things for a trip to Regalport.
Okay. We'll flash forward to when En and Luca are arriving at the docks. And seeing
Yes, please.
Willow and Varys aboard the scrap bucket, ready and waiting.
I do think I might have popped. Is Bruno here?
Yeah, he's always here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of imagine the scrap bucket pulled up to the docks, and then like Willow hopped out to speak to Bruno. I must say, I do think when Willow took that. Oh no, actually, no, I don't think I've hopped off yet. I think I'm going to hop off when you guys are reeling up, so you see me.
Mm-hmm.
See
We
me,
get a
Willow
good
Jenkins
shot of
hop
you
down from
jumping off the
I'm just
boat,
framing it onto the docks, and
With
then like heading
your
over to
cape
Bruno.
billowing behind you.
That's
Wow.
the one.
Eh.
Wow.
And gives an impressed
madam.
whistle.
Everyone's dressing up so nicely. Romy, do you want to put me in my fancy clothes? Thank you.
Yeah.
Put me in my potty boy clothes, please.
Yeah.
I must say, I kind of imagined that like Willow's little appearance, while it's the same jacket, has a bit more pizzazz to it that the other dry docks workers have noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Might just be how they're
Oh.
walking too. They got a bit of a saunter about them today.
A little more
Wow.
swagger in their step.
That's the one.
Yeah,
Probably something to do with having the boat like rock up at the docks, looking cool, hopping out of their boat to talk to their boss.
And the smirking watching them go, because they're enjoying
Mm.
seeing this confidence radiate off of Willow.
Oh, yeah.
I spot you guys. It'll be a twinkly wave and a good morning.
Good morning, stranger.
I'm still talking to the sides of Bruno. Just talking about basically, do I have to do anything today?
Nothing you don't want to do.
Yeah, we'll just clap him on the back and assume that means, nah, I'm good to
Go
go.
and have some fun.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Willow's gonna usher you guys to hop on.
Yeah. As an aside, I imagine En's wearing the scarf they got for their birthday from Luca, but like over their
Aw.
shoulders in kind of a shawl, a loose kind of shawl
Aw.
way.
Cute.
So it's like nice for the summer without being overbearing, and just like something simple they can toss on.
Yeah.
Aw. Everyone's dressed so nice.
So are you.
Because like, yeah, I'm everyone.
Yeah.
I'm every woman.
I'm every woman.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys hop on. Despite Willow's like little attitude shift, it's clearly still like this is still the crap bucket. The scrap bucket.
Wow.
He's been downgraded since I was last aboard.
Right? Oh, baby.
Well, I guess I'm on it now, so like
The presence of N made it a crap bucket. Presence of Luca made it a snack bucket. I think Willow, as they go past Varys on the boat again, they're going to mention, should I change my boat's name? Or rather, I'm thinking of changing the boat's name.
Who are you
That
talking
sounds
to?
smart.
Varys.
It does seem a bit unceremonious.
It's your fault.
'Tis not.
Tis.
You're the one who took the jest that far.
Willow starts talking to you guys. It's like small talk with you guys instead.
Luca
Probably will tell
is
Varys like he should make ready.
admiring your necklaces.
Beg your pardon?
Admiring your necklaces.
How obviously? Because is Willow going to have to like nudge you?
No, he'll look away if he notices that you're looking.
So embarrassing.
He's not disgraceful. He's just...
I do think, you know
this
what,
is
just for
you.
the sake of it, if Luca looks at all down beyond past Willow's face, Willow's going to do the little finger gun thing and like prop your chin back up just for the sake of it. Sharp tap under
You'll
the
kill
chin.
him. You will kill
Yeah,
him.
that's why Willow's
Please
doing
don't
it.
do
That's why
that.
Willow did it. That's why Willow did it.
Luca leaves, goes to talk to Varys.
Willow's going to do a little spin for N
Yeah.
while Luca pisses off.
And giving a little applause, and he's very interested in this new outfit and thinks it's very cool.
Shows their little suspenders thing, doing a little pose on the boat.
Yeah.
Arms out, new glove cover, new belt cover,
Yeah,
puff your pants.
and's doing the thing with the like L-shaped fingers to make a frame.
Varys is getting Luca to like move the sails around so you can actually start sailing. Since Willow is showing off.
Oh my god.
Since Luca seems so eager to be of use somewhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Yeah. And's like asking Willow to do like cool turns where you like whish your coat.
I do one where I bring out the crossbow and then like re-equip it, bring it into my hand, whirl it back into my pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly the new belt I have has the little crossbow holster sort of tucked behind it because I don't have my pockets right now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't actually need like. Also, I mean, if we wanted, Varys could give me a bit of like fan action if he wanted. You know,
Varys
Beyonce.
is
What, busy trying to work?
preparing.
Yeah.
Whatever,
trying
Captain.
to sail.
Alright.
Meanwhile, in the background, there's this quiet fanfare from N, like cheering and clapping.
I hope Bruno's watching and just being like, idiot.
Oh, thank God they're leaving.
Enablers.
I'm sure he's happy to see me hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Varys calls out. Ready to sail.
Aye, aye.
Aye, aye.
Hi.
Eyes on Willow's tits, more like.
I was looking at their necklaces. You can't prove otherwise.
He said that with the same intonation as someone should totally stab Caesar! You can't sit with us! Okay, speaking of hoppin' bitch, we're going shopping. Hoppin' loser, rather. Sorry for calling you a bitch. So I think Willow's gonna head back in and say something as an aside to N of like, you know, it really finishes off the outfit. They're going to get Varys to basically when he pulls away, or like when they get out far enough that they're not in like direct eye shot of the dry docks, Willow's going to nudge Varys and probably he'd be steering, yeah?
Yes.
Probably point to like a little addition that they've made on their boat. It's like a brass thing that comes up
Little
beside
trumpet.
Yeah, like a trumpet. Beside the wheel from the ground. Or maybe behind the wheel. I think Willow would have to extend it like an antenna. And it
It's
would
got
be
a
probably
one of
a
those
little...
little hose type cables.
Yeah, going back into the floor. And I think, like, I don't think he would have seen anything like this because he would have primarily worked with, like, wheels of wind and water, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, Willow's going to tap it and, like, see if he understands what to do with that.
And this leads to...
Willow points at the pipe that goes down to the ground, to the planks.
Yeah. In which case, Varys speaks a phrase in Primordial, and there is a sudden lurch as the ship picks up a speed as if it had just caught a gust of wind without the sails filling more.
I do think Willow actually might have gotten you three outside for that.
Yeah, I kind of imagined we were still on the deck too.
Yeah, I would have pointed it out to Varys and then like asked him to wait so that like show you guys. And now I have the wind beneath my cloak, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Luca looks like a child admiring like a very typical pirate child storybook kind
Aw.
of thing.
And like leaning back on the railing, peering at Willow with a grin on their face.
It's fun.
And at brisk speed, you set sail for Regalport.
Yeah. I was about to say, did we use the elemental to get to Sky Street? But we didn't have it. We got it from Sky Street.
we got it from
And I
Sky
don't
Street.
think
Yeah.
we used it to speed up
We used
getting
it
home too.
On the way back, yeah.
Yeah, we used it a little bit,
bit.
but not the whole way, no.
Yeah.
Just as a test.
Yeah.
Varys had less luck that time doing it. And then En kind of made it go
Yes.
from memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you hadn't fully integrated it into the system yet.
Yeah. Now it's fully integrated. And he's speaking to
Yep.
it while steering. It looks really cool. Going around like our beloved Greenton. Beating the ferry. I'm not going anywhere near the ferry. I'd like to go like pretty much do like a wider arc so that we can
Yes.
like avoid being detected and also enjoy like the equivalent of taking the car out for a spin in an open parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And letting Varys hit the like Fast and Furious button.
Yeah. Once you're well within sight of Regalport, you disengage the engine and sail again under the power of the wind. Oh, excuse me.
With a little aid from Wind Captain, I suppose. Does he?
Does he even
do that
need
come
to?
down?
Doesn't need to.
No.
Yeah.
We've already
Oh,
gained
okay.
the pace.
Cool. Go and dock at the Crown Bay Harbor. It is busy, busy, busy.
Oof.
Early in the
I'm gonna
morning.
do a perception check before we roll in. Hey, look, I'm feeling bold. I'm feeling cool in my new gear, but Regalport, docking at Regalport. That's
You see a few sort of stray eyes noticing your ship as you're like gliding up between other vessels. Just taking note of you.
Mm.
No one knows that we have a super secret engine.
As they shouldn't.
Mm.
Nope, but you are a very small vessel in amongst much bigger ones, so you're just kind of trying to like sneak your way in.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like a motorcycle parked between like convoy trucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
I thought you were going to say like
Yeah.
Harleys.
No,
Nope,
no.
bigger.
They're, like, completely different vehicles.
Yeah. Absolutely different functions here.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're the
Regalport looks so
size of a
different coming in from
cottage.
this angle.
Yeah, it sure does. You're the size of a cottage, and the others are like full-on big buildings.
Mm.
Yeah, I I don't think I have a perception of how big the scrap bucket is, like, in real life. It's cartoon-sized in my brain.
It's like a bungalow-ish.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, never mind. It's a small house versus, like, a full office building. Compared to the other ships.
Okay.
Anyway, so you arrive at the dock, and pretty soon, as you were docking, you have somebody from the Port Authority ask for the details of your vessel, as well as a docking fee.
I think, look, Willow hopped off the boat with such like swag and confidence at salvage. They're a little bit like about being here. I think they'll kind of like loiter for Varys. Like Varys's company may help with dealing with the official stuff here.
Yeah, I think Varys steps up and says, we're actually here to register the vessel. Is that not so?
Well, his arms are folded, and it takes a little moments for them to think about it before they look to the other two. Even if you're not looking back, they just look to the other two and then like back to Varys and they nod.
The Port Authority guard says, all right, and asks for docking fee and then directs you to where you need to go to register and get everything squared away.
Nice. Wow, that's crazy. I think I'll mention to you two, because if this will take a little while, because I kind of imagine it might take a little bit.
It will.
Yeah, I think I'll mention to you guys first. That we're meeting with Damon for breakfast, obviously. So I guess we can't get anything done. I'll get this done, then I'll meet you guys for breakfast. I guess you guys can like decide what breakfast we're doing.
It'll probably be near the docks.
Near the docks. Okay. Maybe find the place to sit for breakfast. You know, like go get a seat over there before it gets too busy.
We can do that, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Willow, I assume, spent 5 gold for the docking fee.
5 gold?
Yeah.
That's 5 gold for parking. Ridiculous.
Is that
For
registration
parking
as well?
it's parking for 2 weeks. Registration is more expensive.
Okay, that's a pretty good deal for 2 weeks of parking.
Wait, so am I paying for registration under the Snapdragon? Jesus Christ. Sea Dragon?
God, no.
Principality?
You will be registering as a ship in that has Regalport as its port of call. So,
Okay.
yes.
So I still have to pay the $5, but then I have to pay more?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I'll shoulder that. Tis my scrap bucket after all. So I'll pay the 5 first.
Unless you want to let Varys help you with that.
He has to say it.
He is offering
Offering what?
to help you with the registration or the $5 for parking. 5 gold. Not
Oh,
bucks.
I already
We
just-
don't have bucks. But you take the parking, and Varys is like, shall I handle the registration?
Is he referring to the whole registration or just paying for it?
Both.
Willow's going to ask how much it is.
45 gold.
Oh my god. I hand Willow a basket of money.
Use Ryger's money, do it.
No, but it's
that really?
Varys's
What's that?
money.
Done a Ryger like stipend for a while, so.
I'm just laughing at the idea of Willow has never registered properly with anything before, and it's like 45 gold.
That's a lot of...
I can't just like find my way onto a boat and get offered a job here. What the? I think
Yeah, I'll
Willow
give
gives
you
a clear
45.
look at Varys of like, I wasn't expecting it to be that expensive.
You can pay me back.
You're not here.
Oh god.
It's a whole ship, and it's in perpetuity. Gets you a flag, gets you documents, everything.
I'm gonna chase you guys down. One moment. I'm chasing down En and Luca where I told you guys to go.
Yeah, we're like probably at the edge of the docks. It ends like pointing in directions with like a Regalport map in hand that they picked up like months ago at this point. Like there's a place
You're gonna say
here.
they picked up off someone like on the docks. Like, you
I
just
just stole it from someone passing by. You don't need it. You're leaving Regal. You look like you're leaving Regalport. I'll take this.
Oh my gosh.
A city map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear this
gonna
place does
stop
really
and-
good pancakes. Oh, there's Willow. Coming
I'm
at
doing that
us
stop
at
of like
pace.
immediate group huddle. Like I've grabbed you guys both in for like a huddle.
Are you finished already? That was quick.
No, I'm not finished. It's 45 gold. I was wondering, you know the Zorn money?
I recall.
We haven't converted that into coin yet. We should probably do that today, but could I perhaps take an advance on that?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, Willow holds out their hand in the middle of the pile like, I need money.
Shall we give them half each?
Sure.
Willow was like, I can cover the 5.
All right, so 20.
So fork
20.
over
20.
20 each.
Sure. Can do.
I was like,
I'm gonna write
"Thank
that
you,
down.
Sorry.
Willow
Please.
owes me $5. Wait, no, $20.
I owe you $20. Thank you. Yeah, write down I owe you $5. Go ahead.
Interest,
Willow
but
looks, like,
backwards.
a little bit flustered.
Yeah, reverse interest.
Oh my gosh.
Boredom,
Willow, boredom.
reverse
Please.
interest.
Oh.
Oh, ha! Clever. Yeah, I think Willow looking a little bit flustered and like annoyed that they had to ask around, but they'll return to Varys and have the 45 gold ready.
Very well. That's underway.
I haven't done this before.
Cool. So while that's happening, En and Luca, can you give me a perception check?
Oh,
Okay.
19?
Good job.
Okay. Yeah. You spot Damon heading towards the docks at about the same time that he spots you.
I will wave.
It
'Cause I
and
can
waves.
tower over N.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. You're missing one.
So, have you picked a place for us to eat? I was
I
hoping
thought
you
it
guys
was
would.
just like a pause of like one what? Willow?
Yes.
Like, I was hoping you two would figure that out on your own, but
Oh.
since you didn't, I'm gonna move on.
Like Damon just like confused because it's like, yeah, he knows. He has eyes.
Yeah, but the joke was like, we're missing Willow. That was he's missing, you know.
Yeah. No, yeah, that is odd. That's why I didn't get it, because I was like, wait, you're missing Willow.
It's
That's
very-
the joke,
It's
right?
obtuse.
Yeah. Just like
It's got
me.
layers.
Yeah. Good job, Willow.
Willow?
Yeah.
Luca.
Man! That also
It's
has
early.
Probably.
It's early.
It's
Anyway,
It's like 7 in the morning.
N is asking Damon, pushes Luca out of frame. Stop confusing me. N was asking Damon if like he's found any good places to eat around here.
Oh, there's a place or two that does pretty good sailor's breakfast.
I could go for a sailor's breakfast, all things considered. And gives Luca a look like, yeah, we sailed into Regalport today. We're sailors.
Ah. God, I have two
Speaking
questions
of-
before we do anything.
Yeah.
One, how long does it take to register a boat?
A while.
I assume there's paperwork, so like at least 30. How long at the DMV? You know?
A while.
If
Yeah.
it's longer than breakfast, then I would do it later. But if it seems like I could get it done, and also get to breakfast in time, not like I made a farewell party and then I'm late to it.
It's
I
very
think what
Willow.
you do is just like Varys takes you there and like then starts filling out the paperwork. He'll wait for you to come back, because Damon also has to leave like in an hour ish.
You
Okay.
said late morning, so I
Or,
assumed that I
like-
could get
like
some
at a-
things done before he left.
In a couple, like the ship set sails like in a couple hours. So
Put it this way, I won't be gone too long if I can see that Damon is already like popping in for the visit thing.
you can't see, but you can guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you guys keep talking though, because I like that you guys are having a
Okay.
quiet moment
Yeah.
while I'm away.
Yes. So you'll catch up.
Then never mind. No need for question 2.
Okay then. Damon was saying, speaking of, where is the sailor?
Oh,
Doing
busy.
boat stuff.
But they'll catch up.
Oh, that's good.
I'll let them know where we are, and taps their head.
Makes sense. Well, breakfast's on me.
Well,
Excellent.
no. It's going away party, so it should be on us.
Hmm.
Wait.
You gonna play me for it?
Put out my hand, yeah.
Oh, and puts up their hands like I leave it to you two, like surrender hands.
Okay, roll a d6.
See if I can remember who wins. I win?
It's rock versus
Is it-
scissors.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I win!
Yeah.
Yay. Luca gently smacks Damon's hand.
All right then. If you insist.
Willow will pay for it.
Somehow I doubt that.
Hey, I borrowed money so I'd have some left so I could help pay for breakfast.
See? I know how you think. Kind
Yeah.
of.
Anyway, you have like fried fish and toasted bread and like.
Oh, we
That
wouldn't
sort of
start
stuff
without
for-
Willow.
Well,
The
you
table's
get your
getting
order
set.
at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I jog in, like message me once you're there and then I come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably use Far Scribe because I think we're out of range at that point. But
Yep.
yeah, just a
Easy
little
enough to do.
note under the table.
Mhm.
Luca's probably babbling on about like what qualifies as a sailor's breakfast.
According to Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, what if there are no eggs in the region for whatever reason? They don't have chickens. So can it really be a sailor's breakfast if it doesn't have chickens?
I'm going to pop in during this conversation and interrupt. Sounds like a riveting conversation.
No, it's a breakfast.
What else did I miss?
Nothing of importance.
Damon is like in the middle of trying to explain to Luca that they keep chickens aboard the ship so that they can have eggs and also fresh meat.
But if they
You
eat the
sail here.
chickens,
You do that at the end of the voyage. And you also keep more than
Oh.
one chicken.
I'll shake Damon's hand while you guys are still talking. Like a good morning.
Hey, there you are.
Hmm.
Looking good.
Thank you.
So, I'll be setting sail soon.
Yeah, Kubara, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure we'll catch up soon enough.
Thinking of traveling on land across to where we'll probably end up, or
We'll see where it takes me.
you don't know where you're going?
I haven't figured it out yet. Cross
very
that bridge when we
freeform.
get there.
Very freeform traveler.
Mm-hmm.
well, it depends what leads you find where you end up. Those will take you to different locations depending on what it is you uncover.
Oh. That makes sense.
And makes a little
At the
gesture.
very
Luca.
least, my At the very least, my next stop is New Throne.
Newtown.
New Throne.
Oh,
So, are you going there because of a person or just the place?
Well, it's the biggest port in Kabara, so
Hmm.
I'll probably be setting out from foot there. Maybe look around the jungles.
Lay some dragons.
Maybe. If there's some that need slaying.
They make the error of crossing your path.
Question.
Yeah?
Does it seem like Damon is keeping the armillary sphere or the astronomical sphere in a bag of holding, or is he carrying it like visibly?
It is probably in a bag of holding.
Nice. Okay. I think Willow's just mostly quietly listening to the conversation. They don't seem uncomfortable with being quiet. They're just like enjoying you guys chattering.
Mhm. Yeah, Damon makes a bit of small talk
Yeah.
as you
Probably about
guys
travel
eat.
plans.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
unless Willow stops and might also like kind of mention where they're thinking they're going to be going on their sailing trip and where they might be stopping, just to kind of coordinate where we'll be, where to send messages, whatnot.
I think I'll briefly say, oh, yes, I told Damon a little bit about our direction, and he gave us some fair warning for the journey ahead.
Oh,
Which
about
seas to avoid.
Karnath, I would assume.
Oh.
Seas to avoid is more Willow's department, but Karnath is probably where I'm going to struggle.
Why? Cold? You don't like the cold.
I've never been in the cold, and as we determined the last time we spoke about Karnath,
Oh,
I'm probably
yeah.
going to die in a self-made avalanche. But also the fact that I have sticky fingers.
N
Mm.
is
Wash your
small.
hands.
N is small, prone to committing crimes, and hungry. 3 things that don't go very well in Karnath.
Then shakes their
Well,
head.
everyone's hungry. Everyone's hungry there, so.
N has a particular appetite. See, I'm gesturing at N's food.
And looks down at like the double sailor's breakfast they've ordered.
It's like when you watch a small rodent eating way too much food for itself.
And presently puts
The-
a whole
no
piece of
offense.
toast in their mouth just to
Ah, see?
Demonstrate.
yeah, demonstrate what Willow's saying.
Hamster-like.
Cheeks do probably stretch out and puff a bit because changeling.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to keep you on a leash?
What kind of hamsters have you looked at before?
Yeah, obviously you're gonna have to put me in a ball.
Leash dog ball.
Damon is kind of like covering his mouth and like snorting into his hand a bit. This is such a dumb conversation.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Think you're immune from it, buddy? Just because you're older than us? No.
Hang around Luca long enough.
It infects you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna inside check.
Sure.
Oh,
19.
Don't worry, his modifier is like 27, so.
yeah, but he might roll a 1.
Well, he doesn't need to roll, does he?
I feel like he's always rolling. See me
Yeah.
roll, and well, actually, we don't, but we still hate him.
Don't see me.
He's white and
Hey.
nerdy!
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's only nerdy. He's got white hair
His
and
white
nerdy.
hair, you know, like, that's pale.
Hey friends, guess what?
But
Well, he rolled a 1?
Other side of the
Course I know.
pendulum.
yeah, I thought it. Nat 20.
But a 19 is still pretty good. He's seems to be enjoying the company. Every now and then he checks the time, but
Yeah. And probably asks Damon, like, to kind of repeat the Karnath tips for them, because, like, legitimately, N wants to know what they should
Yeah.
try to avoid doing in the public eye.
Crime.
Yes,
Theft.
but that can cover a
Stealing.
wide range of things. I'd like to know
Well,
specifics.
the rules will be different for you because you're not a citizen, but
Does that
in
make it
general,
worse
try and-
or better?
6 on
Depends
one
on your
hand, half a dozen on the other.
This is not encouraging. Anyway, continue.
Try not to interfere with soldiers or anything like that, and expect to obey the laws of rationing pretty strictly. You'll probably be questioned and searched a lot. So,
Good to know.
Try not to carry as
Try to-
many concealed weapons.
well, carrying weapons isn't an issue unless you're starting trouble.
Yeah, it's Karnath.
But,
Somehow I don't think the knives are going to be their biggest concern.
Oh, I'll just be concerned about how small they are.
Well, I'm in luck. They won't want them then.
Try and keep your business to yourself and be on your best behavior. And don't make a show of bending the rules.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Luca pulls a face. These two don't have the best track record.
Hey, I don't make a show of it. I'm very discreet.
I can be discreet.
Sure.
You've just met me at a time when I'm being a bit louder than usual, but I've worked under strict rules before.
They're going to get me in trouble.
Not if
like
you
going
don't
to
get
help
you
me.
in trouble. Oh, please, as if you're not going to get. Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. The inevitability.
Of me getting in trouble?
Mm.
Yep.
In your own town?
Someone's
Absolutely.
going to get me in trouble.
It's gonna be
That
me!
being said, if you want to make friends in low places, there is a little bit of extra to be gained by bringing in some lavish imports. Mind though, they will search the ship.
Of course. What are we talking about here?
Oh, you know,
Chocolates.
that's one of them. Any kind of luxury from, let's say, outside of Karnath's borders.
I was gonna suggest we stock up on snacks for our sake, but it might become, and rubs their fingers together, a little bit of currency, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
How very pirate of you all.
When in Regalport.
I'll
What?
toast with you guys.
We are in Regalport.
It's the same.
Just clink
It's
your
close
glass with
to-
me.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. Time passes. You have a pleasant breakfast. Willow, could you make me a perception check?
Okay. Yep.
You notice as Damon, maybe not as smoothly as he would like to, slips a small pouch of probably coin into one of your dangling pockets.
My jacket.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I don't know if he. Oh no, he'd be able to detect it. He'd be able to detect that my pockets aren't pockets of party
Yeah.
pockets right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought that, like, you know, the funny thing of like, here, I'll disappear them into the party pockets. Oh shit, they're just regular pockets. Ah, the big like thunk of them hitting the pocket is right there. But no, it's okay.
Yep.
You know that they are legit pockets. You know what? I'm not gonna fight him on it.
Why is he giving you money?
Presumably to help with the paying of stuff.
Travel
Mhm.
costs and
because
whatnot.
he hasn't.
Because we did.
he has
Willow
it by
desperately
the
needs
boatload.
money, and we need the money for travel expenses. He's paying for us to travel. It's part of our contract, essentially.
I can't believe how. I can't even say it. I was about to. Family coded that is.
Oh God, it's happening.
What?
Anyway,
Yes.
Grandma
The
slips
clock.
$10 into your pocket. Says, "Don't tell your mother."
Buy yourself something sweet.
Deprive
clock
Carnappy
strikes.
people.
The clock strikes 8:30, I want to say. And Damon says, well, I should probably head up early instead of late.
Wouldn't want to miss your boat.
Certainly
We aren't
not.
seeing you off?
Oh, you're free to come along if you like, but
Might as well
I gotta
let
head
Willow, 'cause
aboard.
It's going to stink.
Yeah, Willow can evaluate the ship.
Hmm.
I hear they're really good at that.
oh, at least let me give everybody a proper goodbye.
Yeah.
How much do we owe for breakfast? Just as an aside.
2 silver?
I'll cover it.
You did win the contest and N opted out, so
Mhm.
Mr. Trying
Oh,
to
ma-
save up for armor.
this is why you're broke, Luca.
So are we outside when we are sort of like parting ways with Damon
Yes.
to send him off to his airport terminal?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're at the gate.
Yep. So is it goodbye time?
Yeah. Damon wants to give everybody a handshake and a pat on the back.
Yeah.
That, and we'll accept that and try to give him a strong handshake, as strong as, -1 strength can allow. But, just a confident handshake.
Yeah. Look, handshake grip is not
An indicator of anything.
an indicator of like how much you can bench press.
Fair. Yeah, I think, and does the confident handshake, and then as they're parting, they do a little like finger gun and a click of their tongue.
Damon gives you back a little salute. 2-finger salute. Gives you a proper handshake, Luca.
Yes.
With like a eye contact and nod.
Yes. Very formal.
Yeah.
Gentleman.
Yeah. I figured you'd appreciate that.
Yes.
And gives Willow sort of a loose hand clap and thorough pat on the shoulder. Oh,
I think Was he going to say something? Or
he was going to say something, but
I'll let you
if
say
want to
something.
interrupt. Okay.
To all of us or specific? Let me
To
just
all
check.
of you.
Do
Hey,
it,
I think
Willow.
when he shakes my hand, Willow's going to. It's not neat. It's quick, bit awkward. Like anchoring on the handshake and then kind of just quick, something akin to a hug. It's
Mhm.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Squish.
There's you do a real quick squish hug. Let's do a little contest. Give me an acrobatics check.
Oh, that's
No.
funny.
Double nat 20s. He also
Oh
rolled
my
a nat
gosh.
20.
No!
What in the world?
It's
So that means
happening.
we just have to have the best outcome ever. So what was Damon trying to do? We'll find the middle ground of the best outcome ever.
Damon was trying to give you a hug back.
Oh my god.
Okay then.
I think it's more than quick, you guys.
You accidentally
What does this
hung
even look
Crocker.
like?
Well, you both rolled nat 20s, and Damon's score is higher overall. So, like, this would be perfectly smooth for you, Willow. However, one second as like you are in, Damon like locks you into a like half-second hug properly by like one arm around. It's like a one-armed hug, but like he still has you before he releases you, and you were so. I think it's up to the other two if they can perceive it.
Should we
Yeah, I
roll for
wanna
that
see if
one?
I can see. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to see if I see. My eyes are open.
DC is pretty high.
15. What is he, a ninja? Fucking Liu Kang?
I can't believe that happened. I will say, part of Willow pulling away very quickly is, in case this is awkward for you, the fact that he reciprocated is actually the perfect thing to contest an acrobatics roll. You know?
Yeah.
I won't die.
Congratulations.
It's just
Oh,
a half
reciprocal
second.
hug, that's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty brusque and
Yeah.
like quick, but it was there.
Yeah.
And
And
I
rolled
don't
an
think the other
11.
two see it.
So I think N was like heard something and looked away at that time to like survey the surroundings. In the background, you just hear a squeak as Willow is squunched.
Oh, trust. I would not squeak.
I
if
know, I mean a
squeaked when
cartoonish
Damon hugged
squeak.
me, I'd drown myself. Yes, I know. So,
Like a squeaky dog toy squeak.
Yeah.
no, God, no. It's just normal. It's
Yes.
it's normal. It's a normal
Yes.
interaction.
Keep telling yourself that, darling.
It's normal.
It is. No,
Yeah,
I'm so
wait,
happy
I'm-
for you. I'm so happy for you.
Congratulations on your regular action with Damon. God, you're fucking me up.
Everyone's being like, "Oh my God, congratulations!" I get a cake.
Congrats on being normal.
Honestly, Willow and Damon, after everything, literally having to roll a nat 20 to have a normal interaction
You
that
know,
anybody else could have.
this. I'm glad
It's
this
a
is your
blink
final
of-
interaction before we part
Yeah.
ways
Honestly,
on every level.
That's
came
so
at a perfect
funny.
time.
A mutually shared hug. Oh, stop. Okay.
Mutually shared, super casual hug.
So casual though. Like, yeah, of course.
Doesn't mean anything.
no
emotional or
biggie,
anything.
but like, yeah. Woo!
Definitely don't see you in myself.
Nah,
with your whole-
nah,
Missing brother thing. Definitely.
no. It doesn't even have to be that. I'm out of the habit of projecting. Don't you project issues onto Willow at the moment? This is a precious moment.
Oh, okay,
Kind
of
of.
course.
A precious, very chill, not very deep moment. It's just cash, you know.
That's
It's just chill,
nice.
which is cool. Just two cool
Absolutely.
guys having a little cool
So casual.
farewell, little nat 20 mutual hug on the docks. It's cool. Anyway, I'm gonna step back like nothing happened and return to the
Nothing did happen as far as everybody else
Nothing
knows.
happened. Yeah, no, it's just a normal.
Just the between
You don't know that we don't know.
Now I know because I probably, judging by the fact that we rolled a nat 20, I'm gonna say we did that like so fast.
It was very brief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Do you need a minute?
No, I'm good. I've had a minute. Have I not had a minute?
It's so many
Handshake,
minutes.
Zeke.
You've had
Okay.
the minute.
I just feel like this just resolved so many problems.
I keep trying to speak and you guys keep talking over me.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Everyone.
Damon looks at you all and says, "Oh, it's been great getting to know ya. I'm sure we'll see each other again sooner than you know it."
I'm counting on it.
So long. Gives you a little wave and heads on up
See you
aboard
later,
the Fairwind.
Dragon Slayer.
Travels.
Because just waving politely.
Oh, this would be the best time to say fair winds and following waters, actually, because it's the name of his ship. I
Shout
do
that
think,
after
actually,
him.
Willow doesn't say anything. No, I think Willow's just going to wave. I think they've said all they need to. The clap of the hug.
Yep, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I think kind of. Do we watch the boat leave?
Do you?
How long till it leaves?
Probably half an hour and a half-ish.
Hmm.
It's a lot of bustle of activity, but there will be like a bell, and you'll be able to like see it sail from like pretty much anywhere on the docks because it's a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I assume that my distant appraisal says like, yes, it doesn't have any massive holes taking on water on its side. It was also a joke.
Yeah, It is
Um,
a fine trader's vessel that has like room for passengers.
Yeah.
It's something that's like makes quick runs to and
Yeah.
fro, but
I kind of,
isn't particularly laden.
I kind of imagine us watching until kind of Damon's red jacket disappears into the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if he, doesn't he? Ah,
He
He's
said his-
done everything.
Yeah, no. So you know, like when people do the airport, like I'm just thinking of his like airport routine. You know, some people like turn back and wave. Some people look out from the thing. Like I'm just overthinking. Anyway, I think while we're watching for a while, I imagine we just kind of stand there. Willow's going to say, "Do you guys want to watch the Folly?"
I don't know if we can get in such short notice.
I bought tickets the other day.
Oh.
When for?
Why was I there? A few hours.
From now?
It's matinee show.
What's that?
Afternoon.
Is that like? Oh,
Well,
There weren't many tickets left, so I was only able to secure 3. Otherwise, I would have. I don't know what I would have done. But it is an option if you'd like.
well, you bought the tickets, and unless you have someone else in mind.
I wouldn't mind seeing Lydia again.
Yeah, you get to see her in action.
Yeah.
This time, maybe I'll actually get to watch it. Last time I was
Do
a
we take-
little preoccupied.
Do we take snacks or?
No.
Oh,
There's a bar.
I don't think Luca's ever been to think something like bigger than kids putting on a play in the town square. So
Well,
I hope
buddy.
it becomes clear to Luca why Willow said to dress up.
Oh.
Yep.
Do you have to go and finish registering the boat, or?
Yes, so I figured we could do errands and then perhaps meet at the Galleria. Granted, I do believe that Meraldine's eyes will be out and about, whatever that means. So, might be an idea if, well, I am clearly Willow today. I don't know who you are, Willow pointed N. And you're always Luca. So I guess that makes you the variable. N.
Oh.
Nevertheless, things to think about. We have errands to run today. We have a boat to prepare for a voyage. And, I have to go finish signing up with the sea dragons, I guess.
Alright, so should we figure out who's buying what for the ship?
I have been making
have
a list.
You have a list with delineations on who's buying what so we don't double up?
I would
No,
say
Most of the mundane supplies you are able to get in salvage.
I know that. I'm just like, En's basically just saying who's getting what.
I think Willow's going to say, I think for today, get what you want.
Well, considering the
You
two of
guys-
you, I want new clothes.
You look nice. These aren't new clothes. I've just arranged them
Well-
differently.
This
That's a
is
new
your
shirt.
You look
scarf
fine.
and my old clothes. But if clothes are what you want,
Actually, I do have an errand to run, so
well, if we all want to split up, meet at the Galleria, fine by me.
how long do we have?
Until the afternoon.
Luca
Few
looks
hours.
like he's doing some maths in his head. Yeah, that should be good.
Indulge. Soon we won't be in Regalport anymore, so
Up. Go strut your
Live it up.
stuff, Luca.
no one's going to complain if you both bring back cheese.
The cheesemakers will.
I don't know about that. It's
No, they want us
business.
to buy from them. The ones in Karnath, I meant.
No, well, we heard all about
You have to
what
survive the
happened
journey
there.
there.
Yep,
That's true.
if we double up on food, I don't think anyone's gonna cry about it, so.
What happens if you eat nothing but cheese for 30 days?
Okay, I'm going to go away
Yeah.
and
Ken's also
finish registering my vote.
heading off as Luca's starting to ask the real questions.
Cool. All right. Doors close to the matinee performance at 1 p.m., so you'd better be there by then. It is about 8:30, 9 a.m. So you've got
Okay.
some time. I imagine, Willow, you head back to Varys. I think the only
Yeah.
things left for you to do are like a couple of signatures and the name of the vessel.
I think Willow's tapping their pen a bit on that line. They might ask, what if it's pending?
Well, you won't be able to submit the fee until you've filled out the form.
But I can't change the boat until I've had a proper ceremony.
You can write down the name and then have the ceremony later.
The new name.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad form.
I'll just make a note. To be renamed.
Okay, Willow's looking down at the paper now, and guess they're making this decision now. They're going to gesture at Varys not to look. They want to write it in secret.
Sure.
Hopefully the person doesn't immediately read it out. Secret name, is that correct? So I think, Willow's going to write something down. A little longer than Scrap Bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just about the same. Anyway, and officially hand it over with the money.
Mm-hmm. Cool. The clerk takes the forms, leafs through them briefly, makes no comment, and then says, "Very well. You can collect your papers and the flag this afternoon."
Willow's gonna nod, turn to Varys for a handshake. Congratulations, you
Shakes.
officially made me do the impossible.
Not impossible. Just difficult.
I think on the way out, Willow's going to say, if I am struck down for this, I'm blaming you.
Why would you be struck down?
I'll disappear all this time and then show up again as a sea dragon. I think Willow's going to actually put their arm around Varys' shoulder as they walk.
Oh.
Well, you could have gone the whole 9 yards, but...
What's the 9 yards?
Varys gives you a look like, really? You're going to make me say this?
No, wait, I don't know what he means. Go ahead.
You could have actually joined the Sea Dragons. As in, actually come under Ryger's employ.
Oh!
Instead, you're just flying his flag as, somebody who's uses
Yes.
Regalport as a port of call.
It takes Willow a moment, because it's huh? Huh? Oh, no, it wasn't even an option.
Yeah. There's a distinction, typically, between if you're actually a sea dragon and whether you're just flying a flag.
Yeah, Willow's saying it's still kind of odd to be taking a flag at all, to have any affiliation with them at all. Willow doesn't exist under, other than Bruno, you know,
Mhm.
that's the one person I think Willow is affiliated with widely,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mhm.
Damon, but it's always people, not flagships, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Willow's just gonna shoot the shit with Varys until later. Willow can also what's the word, show him back to the boat for more study, or just walk him home for whatever else he's doing. Varys time, I think Willow is spending
Yeah.
some time with Varys.
Cool. Okay. Shall we look over the other people who are doing errands?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first, En or Luca?
Looks at Zara.
Mummy's- I don't know.
I have a lot of things on my plate, so
Okay, wait. Let me pull up the list of ours. I didn't have much to do, did I?
I
don't
think
know.
so.
My
It was armor and some.
Well, the thing is, I don't
Shopping?
think Luca would have brought his armor.
Brought
Well,
the armor.
Like,
have to do
brought
it
it
today.
to bring. Yeah. So if it's just
You could go window shopping.
Willow
no,
basically said, treat yourself, bro. If I gave you the gold money, would you transfer that into gold?
Yes, I could do that for you. Yes, I'll
The-
go to the bank. Let's
Yes.
go
You
to the
love the
bank. Let's go get paid. They say what they're gonna say.
Yes, okay. You are able to successfully convert the 2-pound gold bars into 100 gold coins. Would you like to
Okay.
add that to your bank account straight away or have it paid out?
I guess I'll put it in my bank,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll give everyone else their share from my on-hand cash for now.
Okay.
And then I would like to go grocery shopping.
Okay.
Yay! Treat yourself, Luca. Like, yay! Bottle of milk.
Actually, I need to make cream,
Apple.
so I need to make
Okay.
fresh cream. I need a lot of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And
Well,
several other things.
the cream and fresh vegetables, if you're not getting anything overly exotic, you can just get those from salvage. They have,
Mm,
farm stalls there.
is it the fruit that's the issue?
I guess that the fruit is the more exotic thing, because
Yeah.
so like if you're getting stuff like pineapple and coconut or like anything tropical.
Yeah. Then yes, I will get some fruit, and then I will use my steed to take it back to salvage and then come back.
Okay.
And let me know how much to pay. And I will probably get flowers for Miss Lydia.
Okay.
Oh my god, really?
Is that not the done thing?
No, you're right.
Okay. Spend like I want to say 3 silver total on that. I imagine you kind of overbuy on
Yeah.
fruit.
Yes.
Luca doesn't know how to be modest.
No such thing as too much fruit.
You oh gosh, you know what? I'm going to also have you buy like saddlebag.
Oh,
Or like
don't make it a
one of
saddle.
those like Woolies tote bags and just carry
No,
it.
like literal saddlebags so you can put them on your mount.
But then I'd have to take them off every time I dismiss it, wouldn't I?
Yeah. But you also like having a saddle is not a bad idea.
Yeah,
In
yeah, yeah,
general.
yeah.
Oh, what if
What?
don't buy a saddle for reasons?
I think if Luca was going to buy saddle, he'd do it at the same time he buys his armor. So
Okay.
Well, then just the bags will be 4 gold pieces. Just so that you
Okay.
can put them over the on the mount so that you don't.
happy to
Buy
carry a
saddlebags
Woolies
and
bag
wears
on my
them
shoulder.
himself.
Yeah.
For my steed, my shoulders.
Yeah. Is that okay, Willow? Can I buy saddlebags?
No, yeah, buy whatever. Just don't buy a saddle.
Okay. You gonna give me my barding? Cute. Okay, 4 gold. Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
cool. You're able to put them safely on your steed. Remember to expend the spell slot,
Yes.
just in case.
And I'll leave the bags at the poppy.
Yeah.
Since I don't need.
I imagine that you send the steed back on its own, because it
I
is smart
could,
enough to
couldn't
be
I?
able to do that. And that way
Yeah.
you don't spend like 2 hours in transit.
Oh, that's so smart. What a good boy. Me, I'm the good boy.
Well then, all good. I think that's you sorted. If you want to, you could give me... you can ask around for a good armorers.
Yes, that's probably
So
a good
give
idea.
me a persuasion check.
Been a while since I've done one of these. See how we go. Oh, wow.
You're trying to ask around, but I think instead of like getting in any information, you just end up in like conversation.
Yeah, and window shopping, honestly, probably.
Like
Distracted by
you don't
shinies.
end up finding a suitable armorers. You just end up completely like absorbed in conversation
Yeah.
with some stranger, just like small talk. And then it's like, oh, I'd better head off to the Galleria. Didn't get to find what you were looking for.
Today, at least.
We'll cut over to N.
All right.
I imagine your first point of order is checking your post.
Yes. And we'll
Easy
first
enough.
go over there and see if they have any letters.
Yep. The only letter at the moment is a note from Jaylee.
Oh, fancy that. I don't need to go into a dark alley to open this one.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you?
We're about to find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little note thanking Coster for the interview opportunity and asking if they could meet up soon. Like lots of like a bit of gushing thanks and
Aw.
sort of scribbly scrolly of like, you can send me a letter when you want to meet up, or you can just stop by the shop, or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You have to see her before we leave.
Oh, don't worry. That's all right. I've already planned on it. Yeah. How long was the Folly? I'm trying to like figure out if I was to go see her today since I'm in town anyway. If I would do that before or after, because I don't really want like the pressure of I have to go to a show if in case she wants to talk for a while, especially if I'm not going to see her. So
I think it's about
Can I say? Oh,
2.5 to 3 hours. There's like a 20-minute intermission in the middle.
yeah. What were you saying, man?
I was saying the boat is staying at Regalport tonight. I think Willow would have told you. Like Willow doesn't really intend to sail back to Salvage. It's even better to stick around so that like if Varys wants to pop over, or if we need to do any more like ship-based shopping, which I think they're going to plan to do tomorrow.
Yeah,
then
but
we're
I don't
here.
know if N's gonna go back to the Poppy or not, because they still stuff they're gonna do in Salvage. So
Okay. Yeah.
But
if it was tomorrow, I am going back tomorrow. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I have free reign between here and there.
yeah,
Yeah.
N's just figuring out if they want to go now, like today or later. But yeah, they will just put that probably in their back pocket for now and think about it because they have some shopping to do. Yay!
Yay!
N has been doing a lot of window shopping on previous expeditions into Regalport, so I kind of feel like they have an idea of what they want to get already. They bought a few things already, so they don't have to buy those. But you'll find out about that later.
Yes.
You already found out about one of those things. That was the glitter. But
Thanks, asshole.
You're welcome. But today, N is first going to shop around for like a little wooden puzzle box.
Okay. Give me just like a cursory investigation check.
Do I get advantage for having done this before? Done the window shopping, or do we just want...
Sure.
Okay.
You've become quite familiar with the pirate
Yeah.
exchange.
Come here often? Yeah!
Wow.
That's a 4! Just avoiding that one!
No way.
Well, you find one that's like, it's very basic.
It's fine, it doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to function.
It's barely a puzzle box so much as it is like a jewelry box with extra steps.
Well, maybe I'd like something a little more complicated than that.
If you would like to, give me a persuasion check to try and ask around.
Okay. Like, hey, this, but a little bit more complicated. A polite way of saying this, but better.
Better.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Take this up to the
Yeah,
counter.
so
Like,
it's like-
hey, my friend's too smart for this. I need something else.
Okay.
Is
You
it me?
end up finding
Yes, Luca.
you end up finding like a suitable puzzle box that has a bit of a higher DC to like actually unlatch. Give me a gold
Sure thing. All
since
right.
it's just a mundane mechanism.
Cool.
Actually, wait, let me
Oop.
quickly look.
I bet you anything Willow's the type of person to like unpick the mechanism rather than undo the lock. Like they take it apart, but not in the way that it was supposed to.
Well, that's fine too.
Uh,
It was like,
Actually,
it.
for this
Oh, then.
for this higher
bet
quality one, give me 10 gold.
10 gold? Sure thing.
whoa.
That's fine.
We can use it again later for something.
Yeah, who knows?
It functions. It functions like a lock, but it's a small box
Oh.
for storage.
Ooh, cool. Okay. So
Mechanically, it is a lock.
nice.
Put the elemental in it while we're traveling.
It's not that
bit
big.
small for that.
Put N in it when we're traveling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just let me live in it when we're at Karnath.
That's where we put our
Pocket-sized
super special cheese that we don't want the Karnathi law enforcement to find out about.
Yeah. Yes, they search us, but can they get into our box? Anyway, next thing ends on the market for. I think it's a wool hat.
Oh,
Like a fancy one, not just like your
Okay.
stock
a
standard.
beanie.
Yeah. Something that looks nice to
Oh my
wear.
god. Are you getting
Okay.
a toque? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Give me like for a fancy one. Give me like. A silver piece.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Nice. All right. And I think that's it for that section. Next, is there anything N might have to pick up for baking here, or is like baking some
There should be plenty of stuff in salvage for that.
Cool. Then otherwise, I think N's just gonna start.
If you left a shopping list with Seeker Elsa, she would have done it. So
Probably. Thanks, Seeker Elsa. Shout out to Seeker Elsa. In that case, N's probably going to spend their remaining time just buying snacks, honestly, that they can take
Nice.
on the trip. So whatever they
how
can
much
find.
money do you want? How much money do you want to spend on snacks, and what kind of snacks do you want to procure?
Well,
You
mainly
tell
like
me.
non-perishables.
Oh, also, yeah, okay. Other question: do you want to sell those Zorn teeth?
Oh yes, I do. I'll do that while I'm here too.
Okay. Here is a quick thing. Where do you think you're going to sell them?
What are my options?
Well, give me a either nature or arcana check.
Well, considering my relationship with nature, it's gonna be an Arcana 17 for me.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. On a 17, you could either try and sell these to a jeweler, which because they are quartz-like quartz-like material, but you could also try and sell them to an alchemist who might value them a little more highly as a piece of an elemental monster.
I think the logic here for N is I'm keeping four of the teeth to make little letter openers with. I want to be unique in that. I don't want to give someone else these tools for making jewelry. I'm gonna give them to someone who's gonna grind them down into like dust for alchemic purposes.
Okay,
so funny.
sure. Okay, cool. How many teeth are you selling?
I'm selling 12.
Okay, and at 15 gold pieces per tooth.
Damn.
Unless you want to give me a persuasion
Whoa.
check to mark that up a little higher.
I'll give it a shot, sure. Nah, that's a 9.
Nah. 15, they won't budge.
That's fine. That's a lot. So,
Jingling them again.
yeah.
So
Jingle
180
again?
gold pieces.
180.
Jesus!
Amazing. You know, all that considered, I might get that other thing I was on the fence about.
Okay.
Yeah. Considering I just got a big injection of funds, because I wasn't sure how much that was gonna get me. Yeah, I think En's gonna... Okay, first let's think about the snacks. How unreasonable is it to spend, like, I don't know, I want to say 30 gold on snacks? Like, how unreasonable is that?
Okay, I think with that you can get, like, high-quality chocolate, high-quality alcohol, things like, spices and stuff that you can add to, like, plain stuff like potatoes and so on to make it really, like, snacky and fancy.
Cool. Yeah.
Give me one more investigation check.
Okay. Hey, 16.
Hey. Okay. I will say, as you are browsing around, you see a stall that is selling something that they're calling Dust of Deliciousness,
Oh.
Okay.
which is a
Oh.
magical seasoning that will instantly make anything taste better.
Do they allow samples? Because En's like, this sounds like a scam.
Sure. Yeah, they have some, like, plain ship's biscuit.
Nice. So, and we'll try a little bit.
That has a little, like, you know, the little sample platters with the toothpicks and everything.
Yeah. just to see if this is all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah. It is incredibly delicious. To, like, as compared, like, they have, like, the plain ship's biscuit and then the Dust of Deliciousness ship's biscuit.
Awesome. Well, yeah, since I'm splurging.
Yeah.
Can I ask
so,
a stupid question?
yes.
Music's trying to say something.
What's your stupid question?
Does it make the thing taste like something else that tastes good, or does it, like, just
Enhance the
make
flavor.
it taste like a better version of itself? Like, does it still
makes
taste
it-
like a ship's biscuit, but a good ship's biscuit?
It makes it taste like the most luxurious version
Okay.
of itself.
Okay. Cool.
So it's like you suddenly get the taste of butter, even though by all means there is no butter in it.
Ooh.
Nice.
So it's like magically enhances the flavor. Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It just, like, amazing tastes super amazing. You're not sure how the magic of this works, but yeah, it works.
Maybe if I bring some back to Willow, Willow can figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Willow can make their own.
Oh my god, finally my bread can just be more than just bread. It's gonna be, like, inherently like, oh, the best. Mwah, it's gonna taste freshly baked somehow, you know? Oh.
Let me just
Artisan-
quickly look.
Artisanal bread.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quickly look up,
Oh.
or rather, quickly determine how much this will cost for a small pouch.
Like chicken salt and MSG all wrapped into one.
Or like, oh, the stuff they used to put on Macca's fusion fries. Whatever the hell that was.
A pouch with 10 servings of this Dust of Deliciousness, which is like a serving is like enough for a full meal.
Gotcha.
Costs 70 gold pieces.
70.
Wow.
Pricey, but magical.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're claiming that, like, this could make even the blandest, most inedible, most like barely, you could put this on sawdust and it would taste delicious. sort of thing.
Yeah, I think En's thinking a bit ahead too about like Karnath and rationing.
You're so right.
So
Yeah, that was my first thought, honestly.
yeah. So like, also under the thought that maybe Willow can make more of this for us if we have some.
Can I?
Yeah, who knows?
It's
Well, you have such
possible.
faith in me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have to
I was
reverse
It's not
thinking,
impossible.
Yeah,
just
That's my tagline. I was going to say I keep getting images of like someone in the future who we can not blackmail. That's not the word for it. You know, like, don't you want a delicious
Bribe?
meal? Bribe. Yeah.
coerce.
Yeah. So yeah, and we'll get that on top of 30 gold of other snacks.
Cool. You spent
Oh,
100
shit.
gold on like fine hot chocolate powder, chocolates, other preserves, things like that.
Nice.
Elaborate pickles, soy sauce, you know.
Oh yeah.
The works.
En does not have enough strength to carry all the bags that they now have. I think
Yeah.
En will literally take this back to Willow's boat to drop it off in their time
Mhm.
because they're not taking all of
no,
this
you're
to
going
the
to take that to
No,
the Folly. Yeah.
absolutely not. I've been there. I know how fancy it is. Not gonna rock up with bags of cheese, chocolate, and soy sauce.
Yeah.
Soy sauce is the perfect.
Like the worst
Theater
snack
snack.
smuggler at the theater. Just show up with bags of
Imagining
busting.
En just chugging a bottle of soy sauce at the theater.
I don't give a fuck.
Like
vinegar.
drinking straight ponzu.
You have no idea what happened to me the last time I was at this theater.
Yeah.
For anyone who knows the Pop Team epic lemon gag, that's what I'm thinking of. Lemon, and just like full facing a lemon.
Yes. Well, and one other thing Anne is gonna grab while they're out here doing the
Uh-huh.
rounds, is I think can they get an adequate ruby for the same price as the dust?
Yeah,
Because I think it'd be fun if Willow ground that down themselves.
Oh,
sure.
you're so fond
You
of the
can-
grinder.
Yes, I
Like
am.
the gem grinder.
Yeah.
What's the ruby for?
Spend 50 gold
Yep. Cool.
worth of ruby. I imagine that like it's not one whole ruby, it's like a few that will add up to 50 gold's worth of ruby. They're like smaller
Yeah.
because they're for spell component stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ruby? Probably got it from the alchemist as well.
Could I? That would make
Something
sense.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I get
Sure.
like encumbered by groceries.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, yep. I'm gonna swing by the
Yeah.
ship, drop off all the groceries. That's where they're gonna go anyway, for the most part.
Yeah.
Keep my secret items.
Mark down what you've
Yep.
spent.
I got it. I've been
And-
doing it real time, baby.
Good.
I just
good,
watched
good.
my money go up with the injection of teeth, and then go immediately back down to what
The
it was.
injection of teeth.
Injection of teeth.
You
God.
heard me right.
Things out of
So many
context.
words.
You heard
That's
me
it.
right.
Title for the episode: Injection of teeth.
Nope. Nope.
No,
What?
That's
That's
another-
not your ship name.
that's
No.
another
I knew
episode.
it.
But yes, now En's done. I think En's after all of that. I think En's like rushing to get back to the Galleria now, and they will visit Jaylee
Yeah.
after or sometime.
Yeah,
There and abouts.
Sure. So, we see our three friends reconverge at the Gallery of Shadows for the matinee performance.
I think I will say I think you guys would have had to get there first, and then like spotting you from a distance, Willow will muster up the courage to join you at the front.
There first. Sorry.
Not okay. Oh, I do think that Willie would have gotten there first in general because I wasn't doing errands, and I think Varys would have had to go do his own search, just
Okay.
loiter around.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely you guys both have to get there before I come and join you.
Yep.
Looking like how I look today. In relation to the big Syrian opera is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to roll like an intelligence check to see if I figure out the opera.
I don't
So
think
true.
so. So, you all converge. Willow has the tickets.
Mhm.
I imagine it's a little bit of a like, oh, are we going to make it in time? But yeah, Willow arrives like 5 minutes before doors close.
Oh,
Yeah, cool. That's reasonable.
You manage to go up, show your tickets, enter the theater. The seats that you have aren't that good. They're like in the back left of the auditorium, so you don't have necessarily the best view of the stage.
Mhm.
But it does speak to the popularity of the work that even matinee performances are packed, and evening performances are sold out a month in advance.
Hmm.
You all make yourselves comfortable in your seats. The
Luca doesn't
orchestra
know where to put his hands. Sorry.
in your lap.
And like places them, folds them. When Luca's like shifting around.
I did a check to see if I noticed anyone around.
What are you looking for in particular?
Any familiar faces or important figures?
I don't think so.
Or I guess
I think this is. I think this is largely like people who want in on the experience.
That's cool.
Like maybe some merchants, maybe a couple of people who have seen this before and are bringing friends along.
I'll ask, what's the vibe of the audience?
Most people here have heard about this before and like are seeing it on recommendation, if not seeing it again.
Okay.
Wow.
No
Nice
talk
to
of
have
Tarek.
money.
I bought the
I
tickets.
think there's definitely some like gossip about like, did you hear about the attack, and like the author of this was supposedly had an assassination attempt because of this work.
Wouldn't it still be an assassination success to them? Esmeraldine, what's the
People
vibe?
have not necessarily got the facts straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the
Like saying
cause
he was
paint on the
assassinated
stairs.
for his
Yeah.
play kind of thing.
Do you believe everything that you find painted on the stairs? Come on.
No, I don't. I thought. Just checking
Also,
where we're at.
Yeah.
This is like there's like some people who are like, no, he was murdered, but like they're like, what? But it's like rumors of him being treated or resurrected.
Cool. I'm gonna sit quietly.
That's a HIPAA violation. Continue.
It's not because it was announced
Oh, I didn't know it was
in the
announced
papers.
that he was resurrected.
Yeah, that Lydia did a whole publicity stunt of like, we're looking into getting.
Oh,
Tarek.
right, a while ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you meant
Oh,
that
the
there
recent news.
was, like the
No,
recent
no.
news of it being successful.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope.
Sorry. Continue.
The lights dim. The stage is set. The music begins. And you watch The Folly of the Four Sons. It is a stunning performance, as it always is. What are each of you doing or thinking about as you watch it?
I think at the beginning, Luca is curious why Willow brought us more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we might do like a check on them.
Well, we'll find out. We can do that later.
Yeah.
But
Willow,
what
are
are you
you doing?
So, no, I was wondering what Luca thinks of the actual show.
Does he understand the symbolism? Maybe
I don't know.
not, but I think he will find
You understand
it
at
moving.
least the surface of the surface plot, which is
Yeah.
a king asking his only daughter to choose a husband that will act as regent before she is able to rule. The princess refusing to be made a pawn declines, and the 4 jealous suitors declare war on each other. By doing this, they doom the kingdom to war, and only by committing a terrible sacrifice is the princess able to end it, at the cost of her own life. We'll say that this is before the intermission.
Yeah.
So you can see the direction it's heading.
Mm.
A bad one. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, what's the vibe of the... Sorry, everyone at once. The vibe of the opera prior, is it... What's the mood of it? I don't fully remember exactly what the opera was.
Well,
start.
it starts off as like sort of political drama romancy.
Mm-mm.
Certainly lighter than it
Uh,
ends.
Yeah.
Like there was a song where the princess was showing off all she learned from the suitors, and I remember that vibing kind of much lighter and more excited than the rest
Yeah.
of the play. Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Like the first act ends with like each of the 4 suitors declaring their intent to marry the princess, like having fallen in love with her, or at least like wanting to marry them.
Oh no. I think Luca's getting like swept up in the excitement of the romance.
It's rough, buddy.
and then by Act 2, it becomes the sort of clinching point where like the princess demonstrates her prowess, and instead of breaking any of their hearts by favoring one over the other, she requests that they become her council,
Mm.
which
Very
enrages the king and the court, and most of all the sons. It's very tense.
Cool.
And by the end of the second act, the king's death is announced, and all of the sons take up arms in a war of succession. So, that's the first half.
Wow.
I think Rom was going to say something about how ends vibing.
Oh, Anna's seen it before, but they're able to watch the play a little more closely. I think they're still a little bit observing the crowd and trying to see if these are the exact same actors that they saw last time. And
Make a perception check.
yeah, they're watchful of Willow too, but otherwise they're relaxed.
Also, if people want to read the entire summary of the Folly of the Four Sons, that is up on my Ko-fi.
Yeah.
As far as you can tell, everybody appears to be the same.
We're not getting any understudies here.
We do have disguise magic.
Oh.
So, but yeah, otherwise.
Oh my god, they could be changelings.
That is literally a thing, changelings, like a common occupation of
Yeah.
changelings.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, and just kind of relaxed. I mean, it's relaxed as much as you can be in a tense sort of play, but, you know, they're not afraid they're going to be attacked by Edmund fucking Beckett, so, you know, that's an improvement.
Yep.
I think,
Willow?
I do think Willow's paying attention for a bit, but their mind wanders easily. It's the kind of thing where I think as soon as they click, like, oh, I see, this is building up to the onset of war and destruction and the death of Ciri, like that kind of like initial read of like what Tarek would write. For a good portion of this first part of the play, I think Willow's like thinking of other things. I do imagine like we kind of walked away from it before, but I think quietly Willow would have watched the boat Damon's on leave, even if they were just with Varys at the time, maybe back at their own boat. The sight of that kind of brings back a sickness in their stomach that feels at home during the tension of the Folly. And so it's one of those things like the feeling of one relates to the feeling of another, and then they're both there. And then like the feeling of like it's very hard to look past Tarek to actually pay attention to what's happening. I think that Willow's kind of having to force themselves to sit in their seat and like actually watch the opera.
Make a perception check.
Yeah, background noise for their own other thoughts. Okay.
Okay, well, you like your mind briefly wanders, and then you like as you're sort of the setup of like the four suitors, and then as like the second act comes around and it's at the princess's solo of showing off all she had learned, the like elaborate number, you realize, oh, this is Siren appreciation. Make a wisdom saving throw. All other thoughts, all other worries and concerns are swept away from your mind as you are struck in the gut suddenly. Like you've been sort of mulling over things on your own time, like in between like the songs and the setup and stuff, but you are suddenly struck by just like how deeply and profoundly Siren this whole production is. And now that you have actually like given it your attention, you cannot tear it away. It is a deep love letter to Siren culture. But as it progresses, you realize it is also a scathing political criticism of the royalty. Act 2 ends. Intermission. A brutal war is declared, and things will only become grimmer from here.
I think given what Zeke just described with Willow, do the curtains close at the end of Act 2?
Yeah, during the... yeah.
I think even though people start shifting, like clearly it's intermission time and the music probably shifts and the lights come up,
Yes,
Willow doesn't move. Like, I think that's what you guys would notice.
And is gonna like glance at Luca and kind of be like, you can handle this, right? Because En's looking like they're gonna get up.
Should we go get something to drink?
Well, I'm pretty thirsty, so I figured I'd go grab us something. You guys can warm the seats.
Okay.
Looks at Willow. Want anything in particular?
I wouldn't mind walking, actually.
Oh, yeah, sure. More the merrier, right?
Mm. And you don't have to mind the seats, they're purchased.
It's a price.
Oh.
Not literal. Anyway, yeah, come on. And does a little hand gesture. Like, follow me.
I think I'm gonna go past you.
Yeah, and we'll follow. Then.
By Jove, I think Willow's actually going to. You're going to lose. I don't know if you'll lose me, but I do think Willow's going to kind of go out the front door without. It's open, yeah?
No.
Or do they close it? I will go to the front door then and realize it's closed.
Anne's gonna look around to see if there's an open window, some air.
There's bathrooms and stuff, but it's like you just can't leave the theater while things are going on unless you talk to somebody.
Well, that's okay. I think going there and being like, "Oh, the door's closed," is going to make Willow like, "Okay, it's fine." They'll go back to you guys slowly.
And shows them where the bar is and is intimately familiar with the bar here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I had my first panic attack. Not my first, but you know.
I was thinking. Not my first. I'm very experienced, actually. I do think Willow, like, I had it in my mind when we came in, like, to keep an eye on N. I don't think I have the frame of mind to do that now.
No,
Unfortunately.
And probably paused at the threshold to come in here, but they've been otherwise seeming fine on the surface.
My thought about you is, like, if it were a problem, I would trust that you would say it when I asked you guys if you want to see it. So, like, I'm not going to discredit you by being like, "Are you sure? You want me to hold your hand when we go?" Like, you know.
Back at you, buddy. But Anne's gonna get you some water.
Yeah, I think I'll join you.
Yeah. Water is free, but everything else is
the middle of the day. I don't think
there are drinks available if you would like.
I don't know. Like, I don't think Willow, if Willow wants any right now.
I'm good. I think Willow will just have water.
Yeah,
probably a lot of water.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we'll just get you a jug of water.
The whole jug?
Yes. Better to overcompensate than undercompensate.
Are there any other Sirens around? I'm standing here dressed like Damon levels of Siren origins, you know?
Yeah. I think maybe one or two, but they are probably in morning wear.
Yeah.
They look like working people who have like put on like a couple of pieces of Sira jewelry. It's like this is the only slot we could get kind of thing.
Do they look okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I do imagine there's a wide sense of like people just watching this just because it's a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fair, it is a show, but it's... Well. Anyway.
It's never just a show.
Yeah. At least not in this case.
I feel bad for the princess. Luca makes a face. I don't want to marry someone I don't want to marry.
And like swirls their glass a bit. Oh, that is the point of contention in the play, isn't it?
You think it will end okay?
Oh god, I was just about to say Willow doesn't have the heart to tell Luca that they don't think it'll end okay.
and sips their drink. I've seen it before, I don't think I'm at liberty to say.
Oh, right.
I think Willow might say, after a little pause, maybe it's best to focus on who the princess is for now.
Lydia?
Within the narrative, not the actress.
Oh, right.
Well, sure, you can think of Lydia as well. I'm sure this is very difficult for her.
She seems
well, I
alright.
guess I'm not sure of that at all. I suspect that there might be some difficulties with all of this, considering what we know. But perhaps I'm assuming too much. Maybe it's cathartic. I don't know.
The bell rings and you are asked to return to your seats as intermission ends.
And checking on Willow.
Willow doesn't seem to move immediately to go back.
And we'll kind of stop too, and we'll stay with Willow.
Are you coming? He says to both of you.
And looks to Willow. You want to go?
Can these
or-
guys give me a question? Can these guys give me like advantage on a wisdom save?
Hold your
No.
hand.
No.
Actually, can we make like a sneaky little insight check? See if Willow's. They're obviously not okay.
They're not okay.
Can we like figure out some way to help?
Can I tell you
Yeah,
bluntly, or do you
Yeah.
need to insight check this?
that's up to you. I think. Do you want us?
I think it's up to the Zeke.
You can tell them. Depends. Is this in meta or is this in like?
Is it
character
clear?
voice?
As people who have hung around Willow for a very long time at this point and are very familiar with you, we be able to tell this just by being with you?
No. I think it probably needs an insight check.
Okay then.
Okay.
Inside check.
Please, dice. Be good. Be kind.
Ooh,
That's
17?
nice. Insight. Oh, son of a bitch!
Well,
It's
I
okay.
think one of us got it, so.
Yeah, I don't think Willow's actually trying to conceal it. Basically, I think, and you might pick up first. Willow is this close to leaving, to asking to leave. They don't want to see how it ends, but the whole reason they came here was to see how it ends. They want to finish watching it. They just don't feel like they can walk back in there. But maybe momentum might help.
I think En's gonna come over and, like, touch Willow's shoulder, give it a little bit of a shake. Hey. I don't want to miss the ending. Why don't we see it together?
After a significant pause and a nod, you're so funny because you've already seen it and you also had a panic attack here last time and unveiled the, like, you know, all of the horrible stuff that happened in your past, which you have been bravely facing.
Yep.
You know, for
Exactly.
a while.
Why
Yeah.
don't we see it together this time?
Yeah, kind of think that hit the spot. Willow's going to link arms with you and Luca and go back in.
Okay.
Okay.
I might take my glasses off for the end of this. Do you think it will be enough or is it too overwhelming with the crowd?
I think it would be too overwhelming.
I forgot about the crowd. And that was sitting at the
And,
very
like,
back.
Magic special effects.
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot. I was thinking of a dark room because there's no overt lights, but then I'm like, no wait, the stage show is
The
quite
stage
bright.
is a big light.
Yeah.
And it's not just the light; it's also the other elements.
It's a lot of other
The
things.
magic effects increase in the latter half, I will warn you. Flashing light warning for you, Willow.
I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Willow would actually do that. So never
Yeah.
mind. Might have been something they
so-
peered out at first, but not here. Not at the halfway point.
And Willow sit in the middle.
Yeah, I think I linked arms with you guys anyway. So like, you're on either
Good.
side.
Good.
Yeah.
Act 3 begins very gravely. It details the brutal machinations and fallings out as the kingdom is torn apart by the four suitors, as they each fight the other and individually try to confront the princess and win her over, only to be interrupted by the continuing war. There is a brief rallying moment where the princess declares herself queen and tries to make the suitors bow to her as the rightful ruler, but instead they all turn against her together and imprison her. The sons demand she make her choice by dawn, or it will be a contest to the death. This is right at the end of the show. The princess despairs in her captivity, begging the gods and then the devils to save her and spare her kingdom from the war. In the end, the spirit of Sorakatra answers her pleas and offers her a bargain. And the princess says, "I wish for the fools to learn their lesson, that this infighting and jealousy will bring only grief and be our ruin. I do not wish to belong to anyone if I cannot belong to myself. The ultimatum is set. If the princess chooses this path, her kingdom will never be able to go to war with itself once again, and it will cost her dearly. The sons summon the princess at dawn and demand she makes her choice between them. The princess says no, and a fight breaks out. The sons each grab her, but the princess manages to raise the wand given to her by Soracatra. In an explosion of red light, the princess is torn apart. Her blood turns into monsters, her screams turn into deadly smoke, and all the sons are assaulted by the abominations they unleashed. They cry that it is the punishment of the gods, or the work of foul magic, or weaponry, or treachery, but in the end they are all consumed. An eerie chorus narrates the end of the play. The kingdom is destroyed entirely. The army is left fighting over scraps and fending off monsters. At the end of the scene, it transitions to the gateway to the world of the dead, where the king meets his daughter. They have a subdued dialogue. The king only finding faults in the princess. The princess says no. She refuses to be a prisoner or have her fate defined by anyone but her own. She chains herself to the gates of death so that her soul cannot slip any deeper. She says she will fight against the tides of death until she is reborn, so that she can reclaim her kingdom and rebuild it. As long as her soul remains, the people shall know of her defiance and her right, that if the fools had not tried to usurp her, they could have had a glorious future together. And on that grim but determined note, the opera ends.
How does the audience react to the end?
There is great applause. I'm not sure if I would say standing ovation. But this is a repeat showing, not the opening night.
Mm.
There are mixed opinions on the meaning and the message, but nobody can contest that it is a brilliant work. They are all arguing about the implications or what should be done or what it means or what theories the author has about the cause of the mourning. But there is no contest to what it actually is, which is a incredible tragedy. Both a love letter to Siri and Syrian culture, and a scathing political criticism of the royalty and the myopic cruelty that led to the horrors of the war. It's a lot.
Mm.
Yeah. I think if Luca overhears some of this and maybe asks and might flesh it out a bit more for him, so he kind of grasps the metaphor behind the narrative, so to speak.
Does he get it?
Yeah,
I
Does he
think
make, like, a-
Luca gets the emotional core, if not the specific political references.
I'm
Because we've
Can I
said
make a
Luca
check?
is pretty emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Mm. Like a check to
Given
see
that
if
I
you
know
can-
Willow is upset by it, do you think I might be able to figure out what it means on a more than surface level?
I think this would be an insight check for emotion and history check for the specific political references. So your choice. I will say that Luca has advantage on this insight check. You are deeply familiar with war tragedy.
Yeah.
You lived it,
Okay.
I wonder
baby.
if you have your own reactions to this.
Yeah. Yeah, 17. It reads very much as an anti-war tragedy.
Yeah.
I think you probably teared up a few times,
Probably.
if not outright cried at certain scenes.
How is Willow?
Yeah.
Curious. What would be what have I rolled in the past for like spontaneous crying?
I think it was like either a wisdom or charisma saving throw.
Ah, yes, charisma in a dream once, and Star Touch Wonder. I think wisdom once, and you mentioned it was the wisdom to actually cry if I got above a certain
Yeah.
threshold.
I think at this point it's less of a. I think this is a charisma check of like, do you allow yourself to be perceived crying?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Willow wouldn't want to. Just out of habit, not even like thinking too much of it. But let's see if I
Yeah.
actually notice. Oh, flat even.
I think like you're not howling crying, but you are crying and sniffling.
I do think I can imagine Willow's doing that, like elbow leaned on the chair, kind of holding their head, like they have a headache, sort of cry.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily even think it's because of the sadness of the event. I think it's hard for Willow not to look past that Tarek wrote this. Like, that's part, it's cycled back around now to the idea of like how much hearing from En what the princess did in this play is different to seeing it and like hearing her make those declarations about like her soul living on and defying odds of death and stuff. And it's like, that's hitting close to home in a new way as well, for like new revelations that have happened. And I think it's a kind of cry of like, I can't believe the last month happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a sort of it's a mutual feeling too, because Willow, it's not like it's a tragedy, yeah, but it's so empowering in a way.
Yeah. I think this
And
is
I
like
think
just
that catches-
pure catharsis.
Yeah, that catches
It's like-
Willow probably off guard, like, oh shit, I'm actually like
This is you
I
processing emotions through
Yeah.
the magic of theater.
yeah, and I think Willow resonates with the defiant spirit of the princess, and then like, you know, it's like seeing themselves in it, seeing Tarek in it to an extent, like making deals with gods and the devils, was it? It's got them thinking of
Hags.
like, you know,
Yeah.
oh, the wording of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gods and devils.
Yeah, that like just made them think of like what they were talking about with Damon. I think just it's all kind of coming together as like it's not entirely sad, actually. It is what you mentioned. It's very cathartic.
That's really funny because that's what Lucas thought about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's horrific, but war is
Yeah.
horrific. And so somebody else actually saying war is horrific and bad and shouldn't happen is like, oh my god, someone gets it. Like someone
Yeah.
openly gets it, and he has poured that back into the world, and he's been killed for it, and then he's been brought back for it. And I feel like all of the sort of nebulous like things that Willow knew over the past month or so have kind of crashed down emotionally. So it's like putting a full stop on something that they didn't really realize needed a full stop, because like intellectually they'd put a full stop on it. But this is different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think
Emotionally.
that's a big feeling for Willow to wrestle with. Like, oh, it's horrible in a good way, empowering in a
Yep.
devastating way.
Yep.
I'm going home.
Yeah. Does Willow
Yeah.
seem like they want anyone around, or do they just want to be left?
I think if they start hearing people debating it, it's one of those things like, oh my god, I just had the best catharsis of my young life, and you overhear the worst opinion you've ever heard, and Willow's like, well, you should go. Like, I think Willow's going to just sort of try and make a move.
Yeah. You don't linger in the theater. It's a lot.
No.
You head out into the sunlight and relative peace. It's strange. It's like noisy and cluttered, but it's somehow more peaceful than the dark room that was quieting down at the end of the play. You know, it's like this sort of like breath of life and reality returning to you.
Let me just do another quick. Yeah, that tracks. I think as soon as I get outside, I see Regalport, which I love very much, and which I'm leaving soon to go back to that. I think Willow gets down to like the base of the steps of the Galleria before they start crying. And they're just gonna sit on the base.
And gonna come up kind of behind you and lay their scarf shawl over your shoulders.
Oh.
Maybe over your head a bit too if you seem like you don't really want to be seen like this. And then just sit down beside you.
Oh. Thank you. I'm not fully sobbing, but I do think I appreciate
It's pretty close.
Yeah. It's noticeable.
Yeah. Anne's basically like sitting beside you but peering around, like super casual, like, hey, I found you laying on the ground, I laid down too so people wouldn't stare at you kind of situation.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm just crying on the paint-soaked steps of the Galleria of Shadows. Hooray! Previously paint-soaked steps.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if they're still stained at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's been thoroughly
Oh my
cleaned.
gosh. I did that.
Yeah. You
I'm
did.
crying now, but I did that. And I'm doing that.
I think Luca would be sitting a step above Willow so that his legs could kind of block them from passers-by.
Friends.
Yeah. Deeply emotional.
Yeah, I think you can definitely feel Anne's shoulder against yours, Willow, and like Luca's knees on the other side. We're not pressing upon your space or anything, but we're very much there and warm around you.
Yeah.
Me. I was just gonna stay there for a bit. And a testament to you guys being a comfortable little barricade around them, they do let themselves sit there for a bit. Even if they're not talking or excusing themselves.
Yeah. You have a good cry. It's all
Me.
come and hit home. It was beautiful and terrible. So,
Willow will thank them eventually when it's time to move. Willow will just, like, sincerely thank you guys for coming.
No problem. Think fast. He throws a water bottle at Willow.
Oh my god.
Inviting us.
let me see if I catch it or if it hits me in the head first. What do I do?
acrobatics check. Or no, sleight of hand check.
No.
Is it the same?
Can I do it?
Is it the same score or
3, sleight of hand 3? Yep.
you barely managed to catch it?
Oh, thank goodness. I'm going to. Can I squeeze a bit of it at N?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And laughs and like shakes off the water. Yeah, I earned that one.
What was Luca saying? Sorry.
Thank you for inviting us. But I like the idea that it got cut off by N shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Shenanigans.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to go to dinner.
Yeah, Anne's not gonna leave Willow now. They're gonna visit Jaylee tomorrow.
Nice thing. Is there a place around that does like Syrian food while we're in the
I
spirit?
was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Make an investigation check with advantage, Willow.
Maybe near where I got my jacket that one time. The place I avoid in town after I got my jacket that one time. Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
25.
I think Luca
yep.
also knows the Siren corner of the
Yeah,
town.
Kai showed
and
you
may
around
start-
all the eateries, and you also shopped around for.
Also
Yep.
took it, so it's
Then-
like
yeah.
I think Luca, without meaning to, starts going in that direction, even without guidance from Willow.
I won't notice
Yeah.
probably. I'm just like, yay, time
Yeah.
to go to eat probably, and continue with this feeling. And Willow will probably ask Luca like, did you understand all of that, by the way? Because like they could also offer insights.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I
an
think-
excuse to talk about home.
Well, all the clothes look like yours and Damon's, so
Yeah. Cool. Willow probably just
A little
talk to
bit.
you
They
about
were
fashion.
more courtly fashion,
Yeah.
they were
a
very
little larger
colorful.
than life.
Mm. Willow will
Custom.
happily explain like cultural
Yeah.
Easter eggs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine dinner is just us all talking about the play from various angles of
Mhm.
discussion.
Yeah.
I think Luca might actually surprise Willow with his reading of it being like an understanding that the issues causing war kind of come from up and have devastating effects on the people beneath. But
You know, I kind of. Oh, go. You go. Talk.
what?
No, talk.
But he also might admit that he was like kind of inspired by the princess in the end. Even if things ended badly, there was an air of hope that things could be repaired. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, don't let your own underestimations of Luca taint Willow's. Willow is not going to look at you and be like, maybe you don't understand the pressure of answering to superiors in war. Like, okay, soldier boy, I kind of feel like you have practical knowledge of that feeling, and it's just a
Yeah.
matter of articulating it. Willow
Oh,
doesn't think you're
actually,
silly.
Luca, give me
Yeah.
a. This is a bit belated. Give me a wisdom saving throw for that final scene.
I was wondering.
yeah, okay,
You're
we're
fine.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dice said, yeah, hell yeah.
Here's a dirty 20. Be on your way.
I think it's like you see the artifice and the drama a little bit too
Mhm.
clearly to
Yeah.
Mm.
be taken in by the like what it represents.
And
Mm.
partially knowing that it upsets Willow might have let him set aside whatever emotions he may have just a little bit.
Oh my god. I really wish you wouldn't do that. But
Hey,
I mean, to be fair, I
once
was
every
also
now-
considering. The reason why I was thinking of like, oh no, Luca, I'm sitting there like, I hope this doesn't jostle loose any memories for you.
Mm.
You know, that's the risk of
Hmm.
taking you to the movie, the movies.
The movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing is that Luca has thoughts and articulates them decently well in this instance.
Yeah.
And he seems excited to talk about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Willow's excited to meet you on that level. Hey, intellectual discussion with Luca Conson. And
Yeah.
N can give us insights on like stage show things. I think Willow would
Yeah.
ask like, how do you think they did this and that?
Yeah,
Mm.
and probably has like some theories or like that was definitely magic. No way you could do that practical.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But the
Other
effects are
things.
decent.
The effects are
Yeah,
reference.
those are amazing.
stunning.
That was an
Oh, it was a
Avatar
reference.
reference. Yeah.
I see.
I will say, like, Thrani is known, or rather, the Houses in Shadow are both known for, like, phenomenal stage work.
Yeah, and it's probably revealing to you a couple little tricks of the trade they learned when working at a Fioreland theater as a stagehand. Just little things they learned about how they do the props and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
how they.
Quick
I think
changes
Luca-
and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I think Luca
Oh,
does
and I
have a moment of being like, and the bit where she, used the wand, it was ugly and horrifying, but it was really, it was impressive, but it was awful. But it looked really cool.
certainly did their job.
Willow's going to be commenting on little things like, N's talking about props, and Willow's going to be like, did you see that specific tea set they used? Like, it's like background details,
Mhm. Yeah.
like tiny things like, oh, look, it's the special, like, I haven't seen one of those since such and
It's
such.
a limited 1999 edition of the Siren Welcome to Siri teapot set.
2 handles either side for maximum tea porridge.
I think
No,
Luca
okay,
will
yeah.
also be the one to comment on like Lydia's performance the most.
Yeah, you met her. Willow
Yeah.
that'll probably be where the convo goes a bit like, you talked to her a few times.
Look
You
at
should have charmed
you.
her while you were here.
I'm basically famous now.
You could have become her friend.
Yeah.
And we could have had backstage passes and I could have seen my teapot up close.
No.
You could have stolen it, right?
I could go steal it now if I wanted.
Yeah, we don't
No,
need an
please don't.
invitation. Distinctly, you don't get an invitation when you're gonna steal.
No, I feel like
Hmm.
sometimes, like a particularly wealthy person is wearing a really big ring, like comically large, and you think,
I don't know what
oh,
we're
that's an
speaking about anymore.
invitation to
Oh, I
steal
see.
it.
I mean, yes, that is an abstract invitation.
Not necessarily. Let them wear their ring. Depends on the person wearing the ring.
Mm. What if he's walking down a street that is known for rings being stolen? I guess you should hope to walk down a street without a ring being stolen. It's very complicated.
Willow's going to gesture to the principalities of like, oh, place where pirates live. If you expect nothing from anybody, then you just live here and like constantly looking over your shoulder. That's not the world that we live in. Willow's going to prattle on about that kind of idealistic moralism, that kind of stuff.
Speaking of, what kind of you have found a like Siren family-owned business? Like, imagine like
Aw.
if you're familiar, like a pizzeria that is owned by like a little Italian family sort of thing.
Yeah.
That style
Nice.
of thing where it's like
Hey,
it's
I'm
a
walking
small
here.
cozy place that does
Sorry.
family recipes.
Yes.
I imagine we'd like try a lot of things just to see all the different flavors.
Willow will happily shout like a spread, a banquet.
Mm.
Give us one of everything on the menu.
Yeah, pretty much. Mamma mia.
Okay.
Yeah, so we discuss the play over a nice Syrian banquet.
Yeah.
I thought you said Sicilian, and I'm like, oh, we're really going for it.
Not quite, but yeah. And Willow, this is like so cozy, so nostalgic. Like reminds you of your days in like the Tinkerers Guild and stuff.
Yeah.
Going out for a big
Yeah.
feast with other like fellow students and such.
Mm. Probably more the Fabricators Guild, huh?
Yeah.
But I can imagine there's a few mouthfuls Willow takes where it's like, oh, that flavor, and like you swallows it like a lump in your throat. Like, oh, okay, yeah, it tastes like home. Great.
Yeah.
I don't think
Do
I've
they
been
have
back
the-
in this neck of the woods for years.
Yeah.
Do they have the stereotypical Siren music playing? Like, you know, they've got a jukebox. It's got one CD. The CD is worn down because it's always played in here
Maybe.
to set the mood.
You could be a live musician.
Maybe.
Does Willow tell
I think
us
they have a
anything about-
gramophone. I think they have a gramophone with like one.
Theory
sort
seems
of-
like the type. Seem like the type with their technological advancements to have
Yeah.
gramophone.
Yeah, it's like a family heirloom gramophone.
Yeah.
It skips now and then, but like,
That's character.
yeah,
Does it need mending?
yeah. It's
Can
know what,
Willow
yeah.
repair vinyls?
it's not vinyl. It's a cylinder. And
Magical
it's not the.
gramophone.
Yeah, it's a. They don't have discs. They have like full cylinder things.
Oh.
Mm. Like music boxes, kind of.
Yeah.
Like that same
Oh.
function. I think Willow might go ask the front desk if they can
Front desk.
fix that.
Concierge? No, not concierge. Maitre d'. But yeah, the head waiter. You ask.
The host.
Yeah, I think they recognize you as being Siren, and like, oh no, that thing's just old. It just slips sometimes. But if you want to take a look at it,
Willow will smile and nod.
make a Tinker's Tools check.
Please don't break it, please don't break it. Can I use Fish Dog to give me advantage?
Yes.
I was carrying Fish Dog, probably also on my belt.
Just looks like a golden orb among your gadgets.
Yeah, but just a regular belt orb, one of those
Yeah.
popular accessories.
Pay no mind to the belt
You have
orb
a
under
fish
the
dog
coat.
holster. If you have a crossbow
Yeah.
holster, you have a fish dog holster.
It
Absolutely.
Yeah.
looks like you're really excited for baseball.
Yep. It's my baseball holder for sure. Okay, so Tinker's tool check. They get to see fish dog float up from my jacket. Anyone watching?
And
Hey.
this one.
Heebie-jeebies.
It's you like give it a little look. It turns out one of the gears was misaligned, which is what the problem was of like constantly making the needle slip. Yeah, easy fixer. You're able to get it going and even buff out some of the scratches on the cylinder so that it doesn't have that sort of fuzz crackliness of like an old record.
I do imagine like Willow fixes it and like the shift from crackly music to very clear,
Yeah.
nice music, probably that they haven't heard in like.
Yeah.
Did they say a grandparents one? Because then it's a few generations, I'm sure, that since it sounded
Yeah.
this clear.
Yes.
And then I think Willow turns and like gives him a little like nod of acknowledgement of like it's done, and then sort of dances back to their seat slightly to the song.
I think there's like a lot of excitement about it. You guys get free dessert from the house as a thank you.
Hell yeah.
Willow
I'm
is
imagining
so
it being
happy.
like a baklava-esque situation.
Baklava, yum. Yeah, cool.
It's like layers of phyllo pastry with like nuts and honey syrup and like rose water, all that sort of stuff. It's so sweet and delicious, and it comes with like a pot of fresh tea that just like slightly bitter tea to cut down the sweetness of it.
Sweetness.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Shucks. What a nice
we-
night. Aw.
Are
Yeah.
we showing off tonight?
Yeah.
Did Luca say that?
Yeah.
Spend like 2 gold on the meal for all of you. It's cheap. It's a family place.
I'm doing it.
I'll spend it. No, I'll spend it.
I did it.
I want it.
I already did
I
it.
want to do it.
How dare you?
let her
Okay,
do it.
I'll let you do it.
This is
Let me do
William's
it.
day.
And I'm giving them a
I
tip.
gave it back.
Cool. I gave them a 1 gold tip.
Damn.
I'm feeling lux.
hmm They're like, this can't be right.
We're already walking out like
Yeah.
finger guns. They can't see it, but they can tell Willow is winking. Why am I stuttering so much? Because Willow's neck is bare and I'm all flustered.
Willow.
when you
I think very
those
we're gonna
things
just-
away. Your collarbone.
I feel like we're gonna spend the night like out in Regalport,
hmm
just kind of exploring the like. I imagine Regalport to have nice night markets and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Especially
just-
now in summer when like the sun stays out pretty late.
Mm,
It's warm.
whatever there is to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Regalport.
Yeah. So is this
You have a good time.
What'd you
Nothing.
say? And if we stay out late too, we can just go back to the docks and hop on my boat and have a nap there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we're probably staying on Willow's boat tonight.
Yeah. That feels like home more so than
We get there and En's gonna
Mm.
show you all the snacks they bought while they were out. And...
Oh my gosh.
It's
Walk into the
it's,
thing and there's shopping bags everywhere.
Yeah.
it's like an absurd amount.
Damon said to stock up.
For the
Luca
trip
looks
to
at you.
Sean?
deadpan.
I
How much did you get for those teeth?
A criminal never tells.
Oh my god.
Oh, I got the money from the bank too.
Nice. We're all set then.
Yeah, we're rich.
Willow, think fast. Throws the dust at them.
Oh my god.
When are they going to
Oh,
drop
did I give
something?
myself advantage? Oh,
You did. No.
Sorry, but
you
we'll
have to
take the first one.
which is
No.
that one.
Yeah, Willow gets pelted in the side of the head
A little
with
sandbag.
a little bag of like. You did it with whole rubies, right?
No, this doesn't have rubies in it. This is the delicious dust, not the ruby dust.
Ah, the dust of
No, thank God he doesn't throw
deliciousness.
rubies at my
No.
head.
No, this is just
raw rocks.
this is just seasoning. This is like a little bag of salt.
Well, it's on the floor now.
It's in a little sack, so it's fine.
It's in a bag.
I'm gonna throw something else. First thought was chair. But no.
Escalated.
Yeah.
I don't know what to throw at you.
Fish dog.
No. Nothing that will concuss N.
Yeah, we've been through
Everything will concuss it.
Cushion.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
pillows work.
Think fast, but I'm not gonna say it out loud. I'm just gonna throw it at you.
Do I get a check or do I just get pelted?
Check.
Okay.
It's gonna be a think fast check.
That's the DC for the pillow.
It's
That cushion.
yeah.
That cushion.
And gets it like just a centimeter away from their face.
Asshole.
Anyway.
Just barely.
Yeah, and like hand comes up, catches it, like kind of on the forearm and on the hand. It's not graceful, but it's caught.
It's it's like you'd have a little jerk of like, oop, but yeah, you've got it.
And it's gonna like do a little spin with it and tuck it under their arm. Anyway, I thought maybe you could replicate that. It might come in handy when we go to Karnath. Gestures at the bag on the floor.
Asshole. Pick it up. No, I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm just gonna sit in. Interesting. Good to know. And leave it there.
Ben shrugs. We got time.
Oh, I'm gonna pick it up. Put it on the table. What is it, Ed?
And watches Luca come over, bend over, and pick up the bag. Oh, actually, I didn't predict this, but I kind of like how this ended up. I'm sorry, Luca.
You guys, it's gonna be the death of me. What is it, Ed?
I'm glad I have this pillow now as protection. Yeah, and then we'll explain it's a, dust of deliciousness, and it really works. They've tried it. And it might be
Okay.
handy to have for Karnath and making whatever we have access to more tasty.
I think Luca glances around a bit to see if there's something disgusting around that he could eat, but he's not going to. But he's just curious.
You can put it on a tea bag. And then eat the tea bag. Or in a paper, like N's favorite.
What would it... Does it
Best paper
function
you've
on
ever tried.
non-food items?
Yeah, that's a good question, see?
The item description says just greatly improves flavor.
Well,
So yeah, so you can
then.
put it on anything.
I think it'll
Well, do you
probably
guys-
still taste like paper, but like maybe like sugar paper.
Mm.
Because, like...
But also you could just put it on a piece of bread, like
Get
Well,
one
there's
of
a
my
lot of
last.
those.
But now I'm like wanting Luca and Willow are wanting to
Wait, no,
test
no,
the
no.
limitations.
No, I had the candies here. Get one of the candies from the jar. But I am walking downstairs after. You know what? I kind of think Willow's gonna. This might seem like the opposite of what just happened today, but Willow's going to remove the Folly poster that I have, which yes has Tarek Elam died in silence painted on it, but in a roundabout way. The fact that no, he didn't makes it like even better as a merchandise photo, like a souvenir from the play, right? Because it's like, it's from the Folly, and also it has the paint on it that's like, haha, Tarek Elam died, but no, he didn't. So it's like the Folly twice, and so now it's a very precious poster actually. So I'm gonna put it on my wall behind my workshop.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I'm
that
feeling,
sounds like
jazzed
Willow.
about the show tonight. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's convoluted, but it makes sense in my mind, and it's empowering for me.
Yep. Taste your bliss.
Jeez, while you guys eat paper upstairs or sawdust.
Can I use a pinch of that for tomorrow?
Be my guest. Speaking
Okay.
of,
So subtract 1 serving of the 10, which makes it 9.
Cool.
And said, speaking of.
But nobody has cast Identify on this stuff yet. or
Nope, so we're
done
not going to
any.
eat it all yet. But Ed has put it out there for Willow when Willow has not just been pelted by it.
We cast Identify and it's just raw like rock salt or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Honestly,
that's easy.
well, nothing enhances.
Salt is a flavor buster.
It certainly
Hmm.
helps.
Actually, I'm not a big fan of salt. It's too salty.
Well, you're a unique case, my friend.
You shouldn't be allowed
Speaking
to
of-
say
Yeah.
one food-related comment from you per stream.
Yeah, we have a limit, a hard limit. Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was saying, like, if we're kind of closing up today, when does Luca want to do the thing?
Well, we have to be back in salvage. So
Well, we're not. Well, Willow's not going back to salvage for a little while, right? Or are they going back today?
they're going back tomorrow, right?
I could
Yeah.
go back tomorrow. Just might as well enjoy it. I mean, I could go back tonight if you wanted to go night sailing. It's alright. I'll go back in the afternoon tomorrow.
Okay.
We're here.
Yeah.
I'm chilling. I cried today. I don't have to drive.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. Because I'm
You
just thinking,
probably had like a drink or two.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and then you can't drive.
can't sail.
Don't worry about it. I'm not driving.
What are you gonna do with a drunken sailor? What are you gonna do with a drunken sailor?
Put him to bed.
Have a
give him
big
little
cry on the
kiss.
floor of the theater. Have a big cry on the floor of the theater.
Yeah, anyway, I'm just like, I'm feeling out. I think En, in that case, if we're going back to salvage in the afternoon, En will probably aim to visit Jaylee tomorrow morning before we head back to salvage. And then other things can
Yeah.
happen within salvage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Escaping to-
So, is there anything else you guys want to do tonight, or is that it?
Big hugs.
I think we're just gasbagging and talking shit.
Yeah,
until
honestly.
we
Yeah.
fall
Yeah.
asleep. Yeah.
We might even
You
end up
guys can see
talking
my
about the
poster.
play again once we see your
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah. Oh, shit,
I do
you
think we
stole
might
one of
also.
those.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did. Yes. It was
Nice.
prime evidence. I gave it. I wrote it down for Brina.
How often do you steal things?
When it's necessary. I think our conversation is going to turn to like something very shallow, like commenting on how good looking the cast is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna talk
Like
about like
stuff
the
like that.
tailoring on the clothes. Like, talk a bit about how they saw it up close when they first viewed it. Like front row seats, Meraldine, obviously. Like some of
Right.
some of the tailoring on those outfits is just, you could tell, done by a professional.
The conversation for Willow has geared back to like, what is the dynamic with Ela and Ryga? We still don't know. Like, they're just, like, how is the leader of the house also the leader of this, like the front runner of this show, kind of front side runner of the show? Not even the main character, and he's like the Baron.
Yeah, he
You know?
dies in the
It's just
play.
a whole
he the
thing.
king?
He's dead.
mean,
yes.
Everyone died in the play, so like.
No,
like, he died first.
Well,
So-
I don't think he could have played the princess.
He's the loser.
Or
He could have played the princess.
He could have played the
Yeah.
princess, but he just chose not to.
he's handsome.
Yeah, so it's just
Yes, the princess's main trait, handsomeness.
Yeah.
yes.
The defining point of the play, how handsome the princess was.
I don't
So
know if
just
you could
comment
She is very
Conversation.
pretty. Though.
Yeah, just conversation like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that is the nature
All
of the
I want-
conversation until night.
All I want to know is, does anybody cast Identify on the Dust of Deliciousness?
if
tonight.
I get handed it back in a decent way, I will. If not,
I think Luca
I
would
won't,
offer it
'cause
to
we're
you.
chatting.
Curious.
Luca did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luca did.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll cast Identify on it. Might as
Okay.
well. It's here.
Cool. So, Dust of deliciousness. This reddish-brown dust can be sprinkled over any edible substance to greatly improve the flavor. The dust also dulls the eater's senses. Anyone eating food treated with this dust has disadvantage on wisdom ability checks and wisdom saving throws for 1 hour.
Oh. Luca looks at En like, I'll put that back.
Willow's going to toss it back to you. So be careful who you feed that to.
Good to know, actually. This might just become
Yeah.
a secret weapon. So I'll still be in the market for you to make more of that.
Yeah. It's very
Okay, well,
tasty, it just might also make you a little bit slow. Or a little bit
Oh.
less,
Then I
Perceptive.
definitely shouldn't eat it.
And I'm sorry, I said
Luca
okay,
pretends
Wilfred
to
out
down
loud
the whole
to
thing.
Ed. Oh my gosh.
Not that bad.
Willow was joking, obviously.
Don't bring him up. We're ruining a good night.
Having a nice evening. You don't need to bring that asshole into it.
I
The
think
only
it's-
asshole I want to know about is...
Don't finish that sentence.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Let's skip to the next morning.
Actually, Luca couldn't
Willow's like,
think of
okay, good
anything.
night.
So I think he just stalled and made a face like, what? Where am I going with this?
No,
No,
we're
we're
good.
good.
Goodbye, good night.
Okay, next day, 5th of Larvion.
Yeah. So,
Breakfast
knowing
with Jay Lee.
the schedule for the day, yeah. Maybe not breakfast,
I'm probably
but
gonna chill with Varys
yeah, cool.
if he's available. But if not, I'll just train with him and then do something else.
Yeah, I think Varys is probably busy. I think he probably told you that yesterday.
Ah, okay, no worries then.
So
In which case, what is on the agenda for Mr. Jenkins? Or
I'll let En go first. Oh, unless you want to. Because until otherwise engaged, probably just like boat prep stuff, like getting like stuff for the boat. I didn't really go do my lavish shopping yesterday, so probably today is my treat yourself day.
would you like someone to carry your bags?
I think Willow's good on their own. Sorry.
bless you.
Bless you.
Luca would like to know if Willow's going back to salvage today.
Probably later. I need to
In the
check on my day job.
I thought you didn't have one anymore.
No, I do. I'll go back before the day is done, so I can help.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Yep. We
Yeah.
go on idle shopping. Yeah, Luca can come with me if he wants to carry stuff.
Okay.
Actually, I'll return to salvage. I have things to do.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Unless you want my company.
No, it's fine. Willow might
Piss
reinstate
off.
their pockets so that they can. Willow reinstate their pockets in the morning so that they can use party pockets.
Yep. Fish dog disabled.
Good night, sweet prince.
Pockets enabled.
Hello, sweet. Pits?
Pockets.
Pockets.
Pouches.
Luca heads home.
Probably get the steed to meet me part way so that I can get home faster.
You're at the docks. You can just take the ferry.
Is that faster? What's the fastest?
The ferry.
Oh, okay then. Well, it's no scrap bucket, but it will do, I guess.
En.
Yeah, and is donning their eye patch again because Jaylee has only ever seen them with their eye patch, so
Yeah.
they're not about to have that conversation today.
Yeah.
Maybe ever.
Yeah, that one can just maybe stay a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So they're wearing their eye patch, and they'll make their way to the studio.
Yeah.
A little thing in their back
Relatively
pocket.
early. Yeah, relatively early in the day. I think you guys slept in a little bit. You were up late last night. So yeah, you arrive just as like the studio is setting up for its day of business.
All right. Do I spot her before she spots me? Where is she? What's happening?
Probably. You tell me. Jaylee's
Yeah.
going about her daily sort of routine.
Yeah.
Her
Her Jaylee dailies.
Yeah, I think En like leans in the doorway or wherever's closest to her and will announce themselves like, heard you want to see me.
Oh, Custer. Hey, hi. How are
Hey.
you? Coming in.
Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, and you just start
Yeah.
chatting with her. Jaylee is delighted and a little bit flustered to have this interview upcoming with the Panoply. She's been working a lot on her flower vases collection, experimenting with other forms, including like other homeware items, so like cups, plates, teapots.
Yeah. And oohing and awing at everything she shows them.
She is struggling with the teapots because it's hard to get them like both looking floral and have them pour cleanly.
No. Yeah. Her teapots are hard enough on their own.
I will say she does get a little bit flustered and then asks about how you are doing, like, so what have you been up to, and all that.
Yeah. What is En gonna... And probably like talks about some like just kind of innocuous stuff at first, but they'll get eventually to the point of not to be the bearer of bad news, but I will be heading out of Regalport pretty soon.
How do you know what day?
10th or 11th? 11th, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that is really soon. That's hardly a week away.
Yeah, I would have let you know sooner, but I wasn't even all that sure until recently.
Oh. Well, then I'd better get you a going away gift before you leave, or something like that.
You don't have to do that, but...
I insist, please.
Alright, I'm not gonna stop you.
So she just like chatters like, where are you heading? Who are you going with, and all that. It's just
Yeah.
like friendly company. What do you tell her?
I think...
How much detail do you give her?
Yeah, I think En is going to say they're sailing north. Not exactly explain...
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Karnath to recover my friend's
Mhm.
lost memories. But, like, sailing north, and En is going to basically tell her that those bad guys that came to Regalport from Sharn, and I'm going to continue my work trying to stop them from spreading their bad influence about the art world.
She nods and is like, she's very impressed by that, and will be sad to see you leave and like so on, but also your life sounds so exciting and cool, and she asks like if you can just still like send her letters and stuff while you're out at sea.
Oh yeah. What is like the mail situation out at sea? What exactly does En have to work with here?
Basically you can try and send messages forward to the name of your ship.
Pending.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll be like at a port, or you can. You have the forwarding set up with the Gold Dragon, right?
Yeah, that's En's plan.
So I think just like name the next sort of city that you're going to most likely, and mail can be forwarded to the Gold Dragon there. So it's like care of.
Yeah. So En's gonna be like, yeah, of course. I want to know how things go for you. What the next big step for Jaylee is, or even if you just want to vent to someone. My mailbox will be open.
Great.
I'll try and get your Preston together before you leave. So,
She tries and like arranges to like meet you on the 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll have something together by then.
No stress. Oh, I do have a little something for you.
oh,
And reaches into their pouch and pulls out just a little, I imagine it's like a little jewelry box kind of situation.
Oh my god.
And hands it over to her.
oh, should I open it now?
Be my guest.
She sort of tentatively opens it.
It's these
What's inside?
little crystal flower hairpins.
You're going to
She like puts her hand to her mouth and gasps and like,
Oh my gosh, Coster, this is really beautiful.
Consider it a lucky charm.
Thank you.
And hey, even if luck isn't your thing, I found if you just feel like you look good, that confidence can make all the difference. And considering you just landed a big interview, I think you're gonna need a little something to really bring the oomph in your new art world journey.
she like stares at them glossy-eyed. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just like, this is the prettiest thing I own, sort of thing. Like, babbles excitedly, thanks you like 100 times over.
Yeah, and it's like
I
smiling and like waving her off, but also like soaking it in.
I think she impulsively like tries to give you a hug.
Oh well, I don't think Anne's going to resist that.
Oh,
It's like a really quick like hug squeeze, and then like she backs off a little bit flustered and like is just still gushing
Yeah.
about this.
Anne is probably visibly a little bit plushy now.
Yeah.
Oh. God.
Yeah. I think it takes you a while to like sort of awkwardly disentangle and head off, and Jaylee's like, I should probably be actually doing work at the studio today,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, I realize I'm far too distracting for you, and then it'll like reconfirm date of like when we're gonna see each other again before I head off.
Yep. Yeah.
Good luck
Yep,
if you
yep.
want to like practice for the interview to hit me up, and I'll see myself out.
Yep.
You're a menace.
It's a lot of like really like false start goodbyes and
Yeah.
lots of like and another thing until you finally leave. Your ears burning.
Yeah, I think even at the end, their ends like cool guy routine was absolutely starting to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't want to distract you on the job.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to.
The next thing you two see, this is a joke, but the next thing Willow and Luca see is Anne just full pelt running to the end of the dock and off into the ocean to cool off.
That's what's in Anne's mind.
Yeah.
I think like we see a brief shot of Jaylee with like her full face in her hands, like face ablaze. Or she's like leaned over her pottery wheel, just like.
No need to make teapots because she's steaming.
Anne's like,
Hey, question.
I knew this would happen, but it's it's different actually doing it.
You're so
Like, I'm
funny.
not oblivious to the effect I have on Jaylee, and I just
I just
You
got
just
out
walked into
myself.
it.
I do. I like
No,
walked
I
into the
will-
bear trap knowing it would break my leg, but it's different having your leg broken.
Yeah.
I can handle it. Wait a minute.
Oh dear.
Question. Do her colleagues know? Because I feel like you always do this to her on the job. Like twice now, she's had to go
Right?
back to her table
It's-
and like throw clay to the sound of her own brain exploding. Like,
Yeah.
do her colleagues know?
Oh, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
That's so funny! Oh my gosh. Everyone looking at JD like, oh, cast is here. What? And then like, ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh. Everyone
Yeah.
watching from the back.
Yeah.
Did you get gifted special crystal flower pins? Oh my gosh. Silly.
Yep. Anyway, I have something to do in Regalport salvage. I don't know where I am anymore.
I'm lost.
You might catch me as I'm heading back.
Oh, well, that works.
If you want to go past the scrap bucket.
It's
Um,
still a
It
scrap
definitely
bucket.
doesn't have another name. What are you talking about?
yeah, no. I do think Willow would have done. Oh, you know what? I think Willow would have gotten some stuff for new nameplate, maybe even paint.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Gotten
we'll
stuff together. for that.
meet up. We can go back to salvage whatever way you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I could use some help steering. So, like,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the boat thing.
Sounds
And
good.
can have it
Needs
go on the
more
way
practice.
back, trying to make the
Adequate nuts.
trying to make the. No, trying to speak to the elemental. But
Oh.
actually, I think I might try today. I might try and like echo what Varys said to the elemental.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, goody.
Good. And I mean, I'm sure it is not the first time I have heard primordial being spoken.
Nope.
Aboard a vessel. Where am I going? Persuasion.
Yes, please.
Hey!
Good enough.
Oh! I don't think it was anything urgent. It wasn't like a lot. It was kind of. It might have just been like a more checking,
Casual. Yeah.
like activating, but not necessarily speeding up. And I think the
Yeah.
fact that like there's some kind of response from the boat that it has heard Willow, that Willow is like, but it hasn't like had an impact on how the boat's moving because I'm trying to keep it
Yes.
low-key.
Yeah.
So it ends wrestling with a sail outside, probably.
Better than wrestling with my feelings.
Yeah. And like I could just jump straight into the water right now. I could do
It's right there.
It's waiting for me.
Cool.
It knows.
It's Willow steering the ship, and we see over their shoulder just end tip over the railing.
Not even
Oh.
like body movement, just like a
Yeah.
stick flopping over.
It's the fuck this shit, I'm out vibe.
Yeah.
The-
Yeah.
Something off the side of the rail, yeah. We're going home.
You,
Sorry,
you
to
sail on
salvage.
back. You sail on back to salvage. I want to say it's like mid-afternoonish by the time you get back.
End's gonna.
Willow, what did you purchase while you were out?
The ship stuff. So like a plaque, probably a new paint color.
Pink?
Stuff like that. No, not pink, probably. I don't think it's Malachi time yet. I think I need to have a significant
Yeah.
moment with some Malachi. Significant moment. I throttle the life out of him.
That's significant.
Significant to me.
Yeah.
Significant
And probably
bruising.
just like snacks. Like N brought enough snacks, but maybe just like one snack or something that the folks. I was away for the evening. Something Bruno likes,
Okay.
perhaps. Oh, actually. No, yeah, I get something for Bruno.
Okay.
And I'm also going to be back at the dry docks for now since Meryldine's out. And
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how much money you spent.
oh, I wrote it down as if you want to discuss it after, but hopefully it's not over 20 gold.
Yeah, that's the issue. For the
That cost over
paint,
20.
Oh, wait. I was going to like divvy up the money last night, so
From
The 100.
yeah.
Yeah.
So wait. So how much is that? 3 way. It's like 30-ish bucks each. 30 bucks
Yeah,
each.
and
but then I'm giving you
owe
guys
us
back.
20.
Can I pay you
each.
each back 10? so I can take 10 gold. Will I need it? We'll talk now and see if I need it, because if not, then I would have just divvied it back up to you guys. So you guys take 50 each.
The painting supplies are 10 gold pieces.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that includes brushes and so on.
Do we not have brushes from the last time? I was mainly just thinking color.
I don't think you have painter supplies. You never bought them before.
Oh, right. I just made N do like... Oh, it's okay. I did a press. I don't even think I will do paint, actually. I think it'll be the same as last time, which was like a metal thing that I put on the boat.
Well, then
but I still think I would need supplies in that case.
Yeah.
Material. Unless I can just get it from the salvage.
You can probably get it from salvage
material. Yeah. Okay, then I won't buy it. I'll spend that money on something for Bruno.
Okay. What are you getting?
Because he has like strong tea.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
And Irish coffee, as they say.
With no coffee and just alcohol. So not that at all. Okay. I don't know. Something for Bruno. What does he want? My first instinct is always food. Am I just bringing everyone back food again? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Let's
Okay, then. Spend a gold on food.
Cool. I'll bring some back for the dry docks. Since oh my god, I just lowered myself to 1 gold.
Yeah. Not that much.
Yeah.
It's like we see a little 8- HP marker come off of Willow as you spend money.
Yeah. Snacks for the dry dogs and probably for Elsa, because...
Okay, then
eventually.
Spend more than that.
Really? Gosh, my gauge is wrong. I'm going to spend 1 gold and 5 silver.
So,
And when I say
here's
snacky,
the
it's snacky things. Not necessarily
Yeah,
meals, because it's going to be like in the middle of a workday.
Yeah, but it's like, for the whole dry docks, that's like 50 people, if not more.
I'm not like feeding them. It was just kind of like a little treat, like a cupcake. But yeah, no, that's
buy
fine. I'll
one
spend
Still
another
50
5 silver.
cupcakes!
Oh, can I spend another 5 silver?
You could spend 5
That's
gold to
even more.
get snacks for the whole thing, or you
5
could spend
gold?
1...
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
If you want to give everybody snacks, then yes. If you just want to get something for Bruno and Elsa, that's different. Then that's like 5 silver.
I'm gonna be treating them, and if you know what, I'm only here for a little, but then I have no money left for my birthday.
You don't have to pay on your birthday.
Yeah, no one will let me pay on my birthday. Everyone will get a treat anyway. But I'm only here for a few days, so I'm bringing back a treat. Okay, fine. I'll spend 5 gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
You arrive with like a massive basket of baked goods, enough to share out amongst the whole dry docks.
Normal Willow behavior.
Yep.
Totally normal.
Wait,
pride,
how much did
honesty.
Gaiman give me?
You didn't check.
Gaming.
I'm gonna check now. Did I say Gaiman? How much did Neil
and-
Gaiman give me?
He gave me heartache when I find him. And
Okay, no.
add 50 gold to your account then.
Because I didn't take any of the Zorn gold. Oh, life is hard. Okay, how much gold? I just remembered probably on the way back. How much gold did he put in my pocket?
He did not put any gold in your pocket. You have
Mu-
10
mu-
platinum and the ruby.
I knew it, motherfucker.
Oh, and the ruby!
Aw.
He stole your thunder, Anne. Are you
Oh,
gonna
it's
take
fine.
that?
You can use a spell
the
more
shit
than
out-
once.
No, and it's different. Like, this isn't like, as he said, it's a waste on a component.
Yeah.
So my first thought isn't to what an asshole. This is on the way back home. Willow's like, wait a minute. I wonder what Damon put in. Did I not check? Just
did
ran
not.
into the Folly.
Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
you were distracted.
Yeah, looks in pocket, sees like all the platinum shine. I'm just gonna close that bag and put it back in my pocket. You know what?
We'll deal with that later.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't think of it at all.
I think there's also like a little note folded up in it that says travel funds with a smiley face.
Oh.
We're rubbing off on him.
It's actually like a like cool little winky face.
Oh no.
Cool, you say.
Now he's annoying.
Okay, I imagine this is on a way back. Like Willow just remembers, like, I never checked that.
Yeah.
The ruby makes them a bit like, because that was specifically something they asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And the platinum is just like, yeah, you would. But like, that's really nice. I'm gonna put it back in my pocket.
Yeah.
It feels like a comfortable weight in my pocket now.
Yeah.
The weight of not being broke.
No, it's the symbolism. But also that, but it does feel, it feels like a
It can
comfortable
be
weight in my
both.
pocket that's bearing against my shoulder. Yeah. Yeah, it often is with Willow.
Why is your pocket on your shoulder?
The pocket bears against my shoulder because the jacket is attached over my shoulders.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just let me joke, man.
Only if they're funny.
Anyway,
So, what are we doing, Zeke?
So yeah, you arrive back at salvage. You minor fanfare. Like there's a couple people who hail you as the scrap bucket comes in. You've collected your flag. I don't think you're flying it yet, but
No.
you have it. You have your documentation proper and ready. So now that now you can actually like show it off of like, haha, I have a ship's manifest now.
fancy.
Instead of you know me, trust it, trust me.
This is also like, you just
Willow-
paid for your car insurance. How does it feel?
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Willow's going to probably show it to Bruno. Like a little proud, like, look at my special certificate.
He's like, ah, well done.
Thank you. Joke about like getting them to work on their boat. Getting the dry docks, the fine people of salvage to work on my vessel. They're joking.
Yeah.
They'll put themselves to work like immediately.
I think. And is gonna peel away to go back to the poppy.
I think like between you and N, you're like distributing the snacks to all the workers. Like it's just
Yeah.
so many Madeleines.
Oh, yum. Yeah. And Willow will say to take the rest, and if you're going back to the poppy, like take what remains. Maybe put aside a few to take back to the poppy because nothing will remain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of hungry dock workers here. What do you think is gonna happen? Yeah. And it's probably gonna go back to the poppy, but they're wanting to reconvene with Luca, actually.
Yeah.
See if he's good to go. If the plan's a go.
Well, you can smell Tasty's cooking when you get to the poppy, so seems like everything is in place.
Take that as a yes. Yeah. And
Yep.
En's gonna show up to Luca, basically like, you got the goods?
I got the goods.
Give me the goods.
You can try one. And I've made some for you and Elsa as well.
No, how thoughtful. Willow sends this with their regards, and we'll trade
Oh.
the snacks for the snacks. Yeah. Did Luca have a ribbon or anything for En particular to use, or is En just gonna use whatever they have?
Did you want to use some of the ribbon left over from your birthday? Or is that too sentimental for you?
It's your thing. Feels like it should be your ribbon.
Luca will find some ribbon from his Scarlet Prince costume then.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so En will take that and we'll go write the note that they've been instructed to write.
Mm-hmm.
Does Luca want to roll it up and tie the bow, or does he want En to do that?
He trusts your artistic eye.
Okay. And we'll roll it up and tie a pretty little bow with the, I imagine, red ribbon. Is it red ribbon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red rum.
Yep.
Nope.
Not that. Extremely not that. Yeah. So if Luca seems good to go, then En will also
Okay.
prepare themselves.
What in the world is happening?
Daly's not the only one getting proposed to today.
What in the world? You proposed to Jaylee? What?
Unfortunately.
By accident.
Kind of indirectly. Anyway, yeah, so En's gonna, like, pull up their hood and slink away. Message in tow.
Okay.
Yeah. Luca goes in the opposite direction. Not really. But does
Part
not go with
ways.
N.
Yep. And last saw Willow at the docks.
Yeah.
Willow's still there.
I imagine, Willow, you're getting in some like last minute shoring up maintenance on like the various magical public works items around town. So like you're making sure that the cleansing stone is all in order, making sure that lights are functioning, all that sort of
So I'm
stuff.
just around. Good luck
Yeah.
finding me because I'm just around in salvage doing like odd jobs.
Yep.
And we'll ask people.
It's easy enough.
Yeah.
They can certainly spot me. I'm a big big orange and blue flag walking around.
Yeah.
Yep. So, En is going to...
Flapping in the breeze.
Yeah. En's going to put on a random face. Not En or any of their personas. Just a random face that Willow's never seen before.
Villager B.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the one. And we'll rundle on over to where Willow is. Oi! You the artificer?
What do I do? What's my check of? What do I do to check this person, whoever's calling me?
I
Insight to
think
see
this-
if their vibe is intimidation to me.
I think,
Am I
yeah,
in
it's
trouble?
insight versus N's deception.
I'm counting on you, N. Ooh, whoa!
Yeah.
There's a 14
Whoa.
versus a 26 deception.
Looks like it's just some person, some courier maybe, who just
Definitely
is
not
looking for you.
threatening.
No anger, no malice, no draw a
Nope.
sword, no start
Nope.
running. Okay,
Nope.
just a normal interaction. Okay. Willow's gonna turn around. Not respond to them, just kind of look like at me.
Willow, was it?
Yes.
Got a delivery for you. They're gonna come on over and hand a rolled up scroll with a little red ribbon. Comes with a second message attached. Only for a mind that burns bright will the secret come to light. Hands the scroll to you. Steps away.
Looks around. They half expect to see like one of you guys around for some reason, but I don't think they know why fully yet. So, only for a mind that burns bright. Well, it's like, okay, something lighthouse, something lantern, whatever. Anyway, they're going to open the ribbon.
It is a blank piece of paper, as far as you could tell.
Do I have? Am I near any lantern right now?
I'm sure you
I
are.
probably was fixing some, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Willow's gonna walk over and like hold the paper up to it.
These are Everbright lanterns, so they do not emit heat.
Oh. Where do I find fire around here? Do I have fire? Let me look at my. So it doesn't respond to the light, though?
No.
Okay, I thought it was a fire lantern. Do I have any fires? Well, I have pyrotechnics, but that's kind of overkill.
Bit overkill.
It's kind of overkill. I'm sure you can
Yeah.
find an open flame somewhere,
Yeah.
either like in the forge or like just ask somebody, do they have a light?
Wait, can I use? Can I use Roselia's wand, or do I have to attune?
You want to
don't know.
fireball them better?
Roselia's
No, like,
wand
doesn't
is just gives you extra fire damage.
Oh, but it doesn't have fire magic imbued. Right, I'll go.
No.
I'll go to like. I feel like I'm near the quail. Like I feel like I'm in the part
Yeah.
of the neck of the woods where I can go into the quail, and they seem like they have
Yeah.
candles on the tables.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll buy something so that I'm not just like walking in here. But like,
You get a drink.
yeah, and
Just
I'll
like a water or something. Sped a car.
hover the paper. Yeah, thanks. I'll hover the paper over a fire, a flame.
Okay. I will show you what it says.
Oh my god, you guys are the. So for ye brilliant minds so sharp,
It
shines.
shines.
it shines, right? I shines. Will moves their thumb. Oh, it shines. Meet me at the peak above Salvage's spine.
Which keystroke is it? My god. I've
Thank you, Rom, for all of your
rewired my
service.
brain. Yes, anyway, look,
Yes.
lovely Willow. Do you want me to show Willow around?
Yeah, look at it. Their pants are bigger. Their sashes are more pronounced. Their belt's a bit different, but it's the same belt component as the Cognaut one.
Don't they look
they're-
snazzy?
Yes, they're wearing a short sleeve shirt for once. So Gray was commenting on the tattoo that you can see peeking out under there. New glove, more summer appropriate, but still wrist enforced. The jackets, I have like a full not brainworm. I have a full like thing about how I think the jacket fits and works. I didn't really describe it very well today. I kind of forgot that they were changing at the top end of the episode. I found a way for them, because for ages I was like, I don't want Willow to wear the jacket on their shoulders because it doesn't make sense. But then I was like, it is cool looking and I love the aesthetic, and I want them to dress more like piratey as they're going out to the sea. And like, you know, nothing says piratey like a little like jacket over your shoulders that you don't like, and just like stuff that billows
billowing
in
in
the
the winds.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? You can have it as a cloak. You can have it as a cool cape, and I found a way to make the rope. There's a convoluted way that I imagine the rope used to hold the hoodie in place, and now that the hoodie has been detached, it's holding the jacket onto the suspenders. And Willow's wearing suspenders, which I've been like waiting. And oh, fun fact, I didn't actually remember that they would have to holster their crossbow, but I think it is at the very back of their jacket.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
at
what
the
I
very
tend
back
to
near
imagine.
their tail.
With like hidden holsters, is it's back there.
I'm chuffed with how their hair came out. And hair pushed back, looking ass. as
Yeah,
well.
the bandana's off. I look them very
I can
handsome.
see the eyebrows.
Yeah, see, you're not hiding as much.
Yeah.
Who's out
I
here
need to-
docking at Regalport, looking handsome, looking fine.
Thank you. Thanks. Oh, and see, like the little. Oh, fun fact about the little. The things that used to hold up Willow's sleeves. I imagine they're detachable, and it's kind of like a magical magnet thing happening, where it like pins parts of their clothes together. So like it helped keep their sleeves rolled up in the previous outfit, and now it's keeping their sleeves pinned down so their sleeves don't flap in the wind.
Yeah, that was very smart. When I saw
Yeah.
that, I was like, oh yeah, very good addition.
Thank you. I would love. I want it to be like a very cool jacket, but like makes sense for cosplayers. So like a cosplayer could reasonably make this jacket and it's functional.
Yeah.
Oh, I can show the boots. Show the boots. Yeah, show the boots.
Yeah, you want to show the boots?
Let's show the show the full body. I like the boots. I just think I might switch around the gold placement a bit.
Here's the boots. Fancy boots, twinkle toes.
Boots. Yeah. No, sorry, we need
They're
the
so
whole outfit for
handsome.
Willow's whole look. Yeah, no, sorry, I actually love the boots. I think I'm keeping them.
We've made a decision.
Seeing them again, I'm like, well, damn. Anyway, they're pretty cool. Yeah, no, sorry, I'm fond of that. I realized that I drew their whole outfit to be seen all together, so I was like, why isn't this hitting as much? Oh yeah, you need the boots.
They look so good.
Very nice. I can just imagine the way they clicky clack as you walk around.
Yeah. They look so cool. Sorry, I feel like it's the first time I've stepped back and actually looked at it. Thank you guys for your work on it.
Yeah, good job, everyone.